In a world with good watches, bad watches, and a whole lot of nit, how can a man survive? Insights, analysis, My Watches with Ben.
Welcome to My Watches with Ben. If you've never seen my videos, we're glad to have you here today. On this channel, I review watches that I own and I perform score-based analysis of watch types. Today, I will be evaluating 157 dress watches between $1,000 and $2,400. We can call the price range premium. The terms are loose. I broke down the full range of simple dress watches into 6 price ranges, and this is range number 4. Not quite to the luxury level yet. There are some really nice dress watches in this video. Some of the brands include Longines, Raymond Weil, Nomos, Hamilton, Movado, Glashutte, Mido, Titoni, Frederique Constant, Vulcain, Junghans, and more. If you just want the top 10, please skip to that. It's near the end. If you just want to know the top 10 in this price range. What are dress watches? They are simply watches that are designed to be worn at formal events. You're going to have a button-down shirt, you're going to have a jacket, maybe even a tux like I'm wearing today. It might just be regular kind of business suit sort of thing. The watch should be simple and elegant. Traditionally, they're smaller. Like, I think this is 34, maybe it's a 33 even. Small watch. They don't have to be this small, but they're a 42 millimeter watch looks really silly. They typically have lower water resistance because you're at a formal event, you're not diving in a lake. They usually don't have lume. They shouldn't have lume. They shouldn't have a second hand. Stuff like that. Actually, let me show you the sport watches versus dress watches because I think that's pretty interesting. Some of the watches in this video are really going to be more of a sports watch. And sports watches are designed to be super robust, and dress watches are not. That's the main difference. Sports watches has kind of evolved over time. It was originally supposed to be just like robust watches. Now they look pretty nice. Some of these integrated bracelet sport watches, it looks like you could wear it in a tux. And some of them you can. Some of them, that's totally fine. But yeah, some of the differences, the sports watch usually has a bracelet. The dress watch has a leather strap. There's benefits and limitations to both of those things, but it's a dress watch video, so dress watch is going to do better. Dress watch usually has no second hand. Sports watch, you actually want the second hand. No date on the dress watch. Typically, you want the date on the sports watch. No lume on the dress watch. You want lume on the sport watch. Water resistance, as I mentioned previously, that's a big deal. And sport watches will usually be larger. You know, this is a 40 millimeter, but the feel of it is actually a lot more on these integrated bracelet watches. It might be more like a 42, 43 when you factor in all this extra case out here. And then 37 is a great size for a dress watch. And speaking of size, the size of your wrist can really change how a watch looks. My wrist is 7¼ inches. Imagine, for example, your wrist is 6¾ Well, the same watch is going to look very different on the wrists of these two men. I've got a lot more area here. I have, 4 more millimeters of space. So that makes a big difference in what size watch you're going to wear. 40 millimeter watch on my wrist is probably going to feel more like a 42 on this other guy's wrist. It's going to look bigger on the smaller wrist. So hopefully this illustrates it a little. The watch literally looks bigger on this other wrist than it does on this one. The watches are actually the same size. You can see the photo is just a little smaller. So how I did this video, how I do all these videos, is I developed a scoring system. I promise you I'm not going to go into the details. But it assigns a numerical value based on how closely the watch meets the use case of the watch type. This watch type being dress watch. You know, it looks at specs and visual attributes. If you want the details on the scoring system, please check out the scoring system video, linked in the description. For this video, one thing I improved for this video is I tightened up the methodology for evaluating the crown size. So I am going to show you that slide. Yeah, this is for followers of the project. Just so you see, I tightened it up. I was doing it based on feel. Is it small, medium, or large crown? Because the smaller the crown, the better. You don't want a gigantic honking crown on your dress watch. So I got these little 3 boxes. I kind of looked through the watches and figured out what's small, what's medium, what's large. We have these boxes here. This Longines clearly fits in the small box. This Zen, the crown goes outside the borders of the small box. So if it goes over even slightly, I consider it medium. And then large, obviously. Large is breaking the boundary of that orange medium box. Okay, in this slide, I'm just showing you what I've done so far on the project. The project keeps getting bigger. This number down here It was 16 something, now it's 1735. Each time I look into these categories a little more, I find more watches. We've done budget, affordable, quality of simple dress watches. Today is the premium. I did the moon phase watches. In that video, I asked what type should I do next, and I proposed these 4. And I got 2 votes for single hand, 1 vote for chiming. So I'm going to do single hand watches next. That'll probably be the next video that comes out. Or I might do a review or something, but in this dress watch project, that'll be the next one. I will get to them all at some point. It'll just take a long time, but we're going to do all the dress watches. I'll get through all of it. I might skip chronographs. I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm not too interested in the chronographs, but might skip those. All right, and these are the last 2 slides before we get into the watches. These were the results of the last price range, the quality dress watches. And what I want to draw your attention to here is that 27% of them had a good grade in that last video. This one, 34% do. So this is a huge step up in the quality of the offerings. 1,000 to 2,400, it's a step up. It's looking better. Gigantic B spike. So it's cool to see the watches performing better in this price range. I think that's all. I hope there's nothing else I need to talk about. If I forgot something, too bad. We're going on to the watches now. I'll give you the top 5 scoring watches, and then I'll do all of them, all 157. At the end, there'll be the top 10. Here are the top 5 highest scoring simple dress watches between $1,000 and $2,400. 5th place is the Pharaoh Paramount, $1,150, 38 millimeters across, 8.4 thick. They went Art Deco here with these numbers, clearly influenced by the 20s, 30s, whenever Art Deco was, of the prior century. Got a really cool movement, got a nice hand-winding Swiss movement in it. I love these dark hands. They're a little too big. I would like to see these a little thinner. I really like the texture on the dial. The railroad track is classy. It's got very minimal text here. That's fantastic. Has a recessed crown, which is really nice. I think it gets a bonus for that. I did listen to a review, and apparently you can still hand wind it just fine because it sticks out on the bottom. So you can just run your finger along the bottom of the crown and wind it that way. You don't need to grab it with 2 fingers. You can just run your finger along it. I had never heard of Pharaoh before this video, but it seems like really high quality. Yeah, the brand strength is nothing. That's where it's getting penalized. That's why it's not higher up in these top 5. Brand strength is not there. It's a really nice looking watch. The silver's really compelling too, but I think gold is nice with the tuxedo. It just works really well. Total score of 88. In 4th place is the Longines La Grande Classique 36. $1,650, 36 millimeters across, only 5.2 thick. Very, very thin. And that's due, I'm sure, to this quartz movement. No secondhand, no date, very minimal text, no minute track even. They have really nice thin hands, really thin Roman numerals. Instead of the traditional lugs, you've got these bar lugs. I think that looks really cool. I like the kind of glossy leather here. I just think this is going to look so good. It's probably marketed as a women's watch, but 36 is totally fine for a dress watch. Here's how it looks mocked up on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, and it's a great size. No problem there. 36 is kind of ideal for a dress watch. It has really good balance with your coat. Nice little crown. It's a good one. And with quartz, you don't have to worry about winding it or anything. It's just going to keep going. Really high brand strength for Longines. That's taken from watchcharts.com. Total score of 89. 3rd place is the Zinn 434 ST MOP for Mother of Pearl. $1,460. It's only a 34 millimeter across, 8 millimeters thick. Again, probably marketed as a woman's watch. Really excellent stuff here. 10 out of 10 protection. You pretty much never see that. 100 meters water resistance. It's got a magnetic cage. It has the sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. That anti-reflective coating is so important. Many of the watches I've had over the years have been completely ruined by that. They've been ruined by that really shiny crystal. You look down, and instead of seeing the nice dial, the nice printing, all that stuff, all you see is just this big glare in your face. Really ruins the watch. So anti-reflective coating is, I think that's critical. And again, despite what you may think, just thinking of a 34, oh, that's way too small. You see it on the wrist, it's not bad. And my wrist, I know, is above average for a man's wrist. So I think this is going to work for everybody. It works great on my wrist, especially with the sleeve. You take this sleeve off and it doesn't look nearly as good. But with the sleeve on, it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, this one does have loom. It has a ticking, beating 60 BPMs secondhand. Oh man, they got pretty much everything right except for that. How did it score so high? It's a great size, very low weight. You know, it's got high brand strength. So many good things about it. It's got this big crown though. It's a mixed bag. Some great things about it. I would prefer if it didn't have the ticking secondhand for sure. Final score of 90. Second place is an oddball. Oh man, when I first scored the watches, I think this was first place. And I was thinking, this can't be first place. This can't be the best scoring watch. That's part of why I do the runoff rounds at the end, because, yeah, I'm getting a strong impression from this one. But anyway, the Serica 1174. And these are the dimensions. It's 35 left to right, 41 top to bottom. $1,785. I'm saying it has a feel of around 38 millimeters. And it's kind of an oval with these dimensions, and that kind of translates to like a 38 millimeter circle. The feel approximates what an equivalent circle area would be, to kind of just put it in terms that we understand. Kind of like a 38 millimeter. The thickness is 8.2 only. It's a lugless design. That's pretty cool. The lugs are underneath. Very minimal printing. No minute track or anything. Applied indexes. No loom. No secondhand. No date. Like, it's ticking the boxes for dress watch. Even has this recessed crown here. Integrates right into the case shape. Those are all great things about it. The one thing it is not great is brushed case. That's kind of where it's getting a penalty. I don't understand why they did the brushing. I think that cheapens the whole look. I'd like to see it polished. Even maybe a black PVD case would look really cool with the gold. But just a polished steel case I think would look a lot better. Maybe if this was rounded or something. The fact that it's flat and just coarsely brushed. That really bothers me with this watch. I know in design sometimes you try to do that. You know, try to make something ugly pretty or whatever. I think it should just all be pretty. Why do we have the ugly part? But it didn't get first place, thankfully. We'll see how it does in the top 10 at the end. I can't remember exactly if it makes the top 10. It may or may not. We will see. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But anyway, we'll see. I don't want to spoil it. And the Serica, I have to admit, is going to look fine on the wrist. It's not going to be a problem. It'll look like a nice dress watch. I don't hate it. I'm conflicted about it. That's all. And I'm sure some guys would love it. So I can tell it's a unique watch. It's ticking all the dress watch boxes. Total score of 91. First place is the Raymond Weil Toccata Heritage. $1,825. Presence of 40. And that's due to the 33 by 38 millimeter area. And thickness of 7. This watch has a beautiful hand winding movement in the back. It really looks good. They did a great job with that. That exhibition case back is really nice because you're going to want to look at that movement. Only 7 millimeters thick. It's fantastic. This rose gold is a little bit feminine, unfortunately. I do like the steel one, with the silver dial. They have one that's a little bit smaller that has actually a gold bezel, and then the dial is a nice other color. Hopefully I have a picture of that, because that one looks really nice, but it's a different watch than this one. And I think this one scored better, so I decided to do the 40, but there's a few different options here. I do like the rose gold. I think that would look pretty good. The problem is if you're going to have other gold accessories, it's not going to match. That's probably going to be a problem. But you could always just use black buttons and black cufflinks or whatever. It's an amazing watch. It's very similar to the Golden Ellipse, which is a great design. On the wrist, it's going to do really well. It's a great dress watch size. Despite what the 40 would seem to indicate, I don't think it's too big, at least not on my 7¼ inch wrist. Very classy, very sleek. I love the monochromatic. The hands match the dial, match the indexes. That's wonderful for a dress watch. It's a great way to go. That was my number one scoring. All right, so those were the top 5. The Raymond Weil Toccata Heritage, the Serica 1174, the Sin 434, the Longines La Grande Classique, and the Pharaoh Paramount. Now I'm going to go through watch 6 through watch 157. We're going to see a lot of dress watches. 6th place is the Baltic Prismic Stone, $1,591, 36 millimeters, great size, 9.2 thick, not crazy thick, beautiful stone dial. Got your lapis lazuli, maybe? I'm not totally familiar with my stones. They offer a lot of different stones, though. Crown's a little bit large. There's no date or anything, very minimal text. A small second is really nice on a dress watch. I like that a lot. The applied indices look really great. And a nice domed crystal and everything. This bow tie means it's going to be in the final runoff. There are a few more this time. I'll get into that later. I don't know if you guys want to know all the ins and outs. I may not bore you with it, but yeah, this will be in the final runoff, along with those top 5, and then 21 others, something like that. Some number of additional watches. This has a chance to be in the top 10. Total score of 87. 7th place is the Schomburg Purista, $1,339, 40 millimeters across, 10.5 thick. For me personally, 40 is too big. I've decided my limit for dress watches is 39. Suppose you can make an exception, and that's one reason to actually try on the watch. And if you do, if you're thinking of trying on a dress watch, bring a coat. Bring a suit coat, bring a shirt, because thickness makes a huge difference. 10 is actually kind of thick. 40 is actually pretty big, but it might work for you. Might work for me. This particular watch might be great. Schomburg, I had never heard of Schomburg until I started doing the dress watch series. They have so many really, really cool watches. They do interesting things. Quirky ones, too. This one has no indexes, no printing, nothing. It is completely sterile. Just hour and minute hands. They're beautifully done. You just get this full aventurine. It's actually kind of an interesting crown, but it's nice and small. They did so much really nicely. The stamped leather strap looks really nice. Yeah, it's stamped leather. Did a great job. This is going to be a fantastic dress watch. One of the best ones in this price range. So it will be going to the final runoff. Total score of 87. 8th place is the Epos 3408. $1,780. 39 millimeters across, 5.9 thick. On paper, totally solid. I mean, it's less than 6 millimeters. Crazy. It's a good size. Got the small second, no minute track or anything. Nice thin hands, no date. It's great. It is a little bland though, and it's almost $2,000. I mean, it is a Swiss movement, hand winding movement. I'm sure the movement looks gorgeous. Hopefully I have a picture. Not too inspiring, but due to its strong performance, I have included it in the final runoff. Total score of 87. 9th place is the Rado Quopole, $1,514, 37.7 across, 10.2 millimeters thick. Beautiful dial here. I love when they do this kind of stuff. They've got their interesting little anchor, which actually turns when you turn the watch. Doesn't wind the movement or anything. It just kind of, it's a visual appeal. Unfortunately, it's got the central seconds and the date window. I would prefer those both to be off. But it is a beautiful watch. Very thin bezel, so it's like all dial. And that makes the watch seem bigger than it is. So even though it's only a 38, I think it's going to look larger on your wrist than other 38 millimeters due to the gigantic dial. And that date window is very far set in as well. Kind of looks a little odd. But at least they get to have, it appears, the same size index on both 3 and 9. It's a classy looking watch by a brand with strong brand strength. And I'm sure tons of history. It's a good one. I really like the dial, so I sent it to the runoff. Total score of 87. All right, the first watch not going to the runoff round is the Yema Granville CMM.20. That must be their movement. Should it be 2.0? I don't know. It's their movement. It is indeed a micro rotor movement, and that is very, very cool. $2,250. I'm calling it a feel of a 40.3 millimeter, thickness of 8.6. And yeah, here's the dimensions. It's 39 left to right, 39 top to bottom. It isn't quite a circle though. It's a little bit squared. So that's why I call it a little bit larger feel. Not a ton larger though. They have adjusted this movement. It is totally in-house. Yema came up with this movement. That is really cool. Of course, that means servicing is going to be really hard. I decided to give in-house a bonus because with dress watches, they're kind of showpieces. You don't really wear them all the time. It's just kind of for special occasions sort of thing. I mean, you can wear it all the time if you want to, but because of that, I decided to give in-house a bonus on this one. It is more expensive. It does make the watch seem more premium to have that. The fact that it has an in-house movement. I really like this radial pattern. That looks really cool. It looks like it gravitates maybe to the small second here at 9 o'clock. That's really cool. I like their little Y, looking very French. It is indeed a French watch. Score of 87. 11th place, the Celadon Imperial Peacock. $1,788, 38 millimeters across, 9.4 thick. It does get the penalty for loud colors because every one they have of this is a little bit loud for formal. It's really going to pop out. I know when I'm playing in the symphony, I can't have bright watches like this. It's not allowed by our dress code. It's funny, I dug this tuxedo shirt out. I actually haven't worn a tuxedo shirt in years because a while back the symphonies all decided, let's wear black shirts instead and wear black neckties. So they went a little bit less formal with the symphony. I just haven't worn one in a while, but still they want muted colors, and this is a loud color. Beautiful pattern though. I love this peacock. It's wonderful. If it wasn't for the bright color, I think this would be excellent. It would score higher if this was like a gold dial or a silver dial, something like that. It's kind of a loud color. It's not too thick. 9 is not crazy. Yeah, how thick is the one on my wrist? All right, let's take a look. Should I be doing this while it's on my wrist? Probably not. Okay, the one on my wrist is about 10 millimeters. And you see when you try to put the cuff over it, it will go over. 10 is not crazy. It'll still work. And guys try to tell me like, oh, the crystal doesn't matter. It kind of does. When you're wearing a dress watch, it makes a difference when you have a domed crystal versus a flat crystal. Here's the 7 millimeter, and it is much easier for it to slip under the cuff. It does it on its own. You don't have to try with the 7. With the 10, sometimes you have to kind of pull your sleeve over it. It has a beautiful hand-winding movement inside, which is actually in-house. Celadon makes the movement that's in here. It's got some beautiful Chinese characters on it. Really like that. I think if you get this watch, you'll really appreciate the beautiful movement they have in the back. It's going to be a great size, great wearing experience. Interesting lugs they have here. It's more striking from the backside than from the front. You really notice these interesting lugs. Total score of 87. 12th place is the Nomos Ludwig 201. $2,290, only 35 millimeters. A good size. 6.3 thick. That 35 millimeters is going to be great with a suit. It does have kind of long lugs for its size, 45 millimeter lugs, but it's a great dress watch size. I think that's one of the reasons it's so popular. With the Tangente has the Arabics. This one, the Ludwig has the Romans. They're both identical in other respects. A lot of brand strength with Nomos. I love their minimalist style. It's similar. We have a lot of what are called marine watches or deck watches in this video. And this is similar to that style, where it's just white with blued hands and then these black numbers. This is more of an elevated version of like the marine watch, and I really like it. Is it like a dressy version of the marine watch? And if we're lumping it in that category, this is the highest scoring of the marine watches. This is a finalist. It'll be in the final runoff. Total score of 85. 13th place is the Raymond Weil Toccata Square. It's $1,375. Presence of like a 37 and thickness of 6.4. And this one has a little bit of a story. I had finished all my scorecards, and when I mopped it up on the wrist, I was like, oh no, I've made a horrible mistake. Let me show you what happened. Because the one I did originally, I accidentally chose the ladies version and scored that. It was totally accidental, and it scored pretty low. It got a 76, but I said, it looks so darn good. Let's just put it in there. And when I mocked it up, it was insanely tiny. It was ridiculous. And it had made it to the top 10 as this tiny little watch. And there's no way I could do that. I had to take it out. It looks ridiculous. But the men's version, happily, is a good size. It's a men's size. I did finally figure out what is too small for a dress watch. It is hard to go too small. The ladies' version of the Raymond Weil is way too small. The men's version is what you should go for. Calling it a 37 millimeter presence. It might be too large for some guys. I think it could work for most guys though. So that was a little bit of last minute drama with trying to finish this video is the Raymond Weil Toccata Square drama. It's just wonderful. I mean, it performs really well. It looks so good. It looks really masculine. I'll get into that more at the end, but yeah, the Roman numerals are really nice. I told my wife about the Watchmaker's 4, because this Seiko I have, it has the Watchmaker's Roman numeral 4. And I pointed out our kitchen clock has IV here instead of the 4 ones. And then she said, oh man, we should get a different clock, because she was bothered by the balance issue. Because the Watchmaker's 4s have balance here with the 8 on the other side. Because the IV is a little bit too small with the other one. But yeah, most of these watches will have the Watchmaker's 4. I do like that. This watch is insanely thin. I don't know how they did it. Oh, well, it's a quartz movement. That's how they did it. Quartz is not a problem, especially when you take that second hand off. Like, who's going to know the difference? You just pull it out of the drawer and it's ready to go for your nice event you're going to. I have the Seiko tank here. This Raymond Weil is a much classier version. Would like that date off, though. That would have been nicer. Again, talking about balance, you have this ugly date here instead of the 3 little lines that you'd have if it was gone. I love the gold hands. A lot of times people go with blued hands. The gold looks classier. So yeah, this is absolutely going to the runoff. I had to swap it out, and then I found out that, oh, they're bigger ones when I was looking for pictures. I was like, there's a bigger one of this? And I had to put it back in. So this one has had some drama, but the final score of 85. 14th place is the Hamilton Jazzmaster Thin Line, $1,195, 40 millimeters across, 8.5 millimeters thick. It is an automatic movement that they got down to 8.5. That is very slim for an automatic movement. 40, like I said, is a little too big for me for a dress watch. That's just what I've personally decided. Might make an exception, but that's a choice each man has to make for himself. I know these are popular, so clearly guys are fine with the 40. I love the champagne dial. Would have preferred no loom, though. The loom cheapens the hands. The hands would look better if there was no loom on there. If you're going to have a date, 6 o'clock is a better place to put it than 3. Helps preserve the symmetry. It's a great one. Score of 85. 15th place is the Redder Mistral. $1,695, 38 millimeters across, 7.4 thick. And yeah, it's got the corne de vache, horns of a cow, cow horns. Cowhorn lugs, those are really distinctive. So many cool things on this watch. A lot of interesting texture here going on. And it's only 7.4 thick, even with all this interesting texture. And a domed crystal. The crystal is slightly domed. And they used a hand-winding movement. It's based on the ETA 7000, I believe. They've adjusted it. It's a very, very thin movement, as you can tell by the thinness of the watch. They did fantastic work here, making it as thin as it is. It's definitely a standout. Brand strength is really the only problem. There's not a lot of brand strength with Redder. You're paying $1,700 for it. But, you know, in these videos, I like to highlight the fact that there are independent brands out there doing really, really cool stuff that people haven't heard of. And this is one of those ones I'm sure not many people have heard of, making really cool watches. The green one's pretty interesting. I really like the silver as well, but I would go for the gold personally. Apparently it is 18 karat gold that they use. Got a thin layer on here, so that's wonderful. Love to see real gold. And this will be one of the finalists as well. Total score of 85. 16th place is an interesting one, the Ralph Lauren RL888. I think that can refer to handbags and stuff, so the watch, that's the RL888. $1,850, 38 millimeters across, only 6.1 thick. That's due to the quartz movement inside. Again, quartz is no problem. Shouldn't bother people, but I know it bothers some people. Is this a reverse California? I can't remember what California does, but you know, mixing Arabic numerals with Roman numerals looks very quirky, especially since they angled them like this. The thick bezel also is a distinguishing feature. Really short lugs. It's only a 38 millimeter lug to lug, same as the case. At least that's what they say. It looks like they stick out slightly, but yeah, very, very short lugs. Nice small crown. No date or second hand or anything. It's a really cool one. Total score of 85. 17th place, we got to the Nomos Tangente. It's $2,330, 35 across, 6.2 thick. So it's kind of the same as that Ludwig, but you just have the different numbers. I think this is the more famous of the two of them. The Ludwig is slightly dressier with those Romans instead of the Arabics, but same general idea. It's going to be a great dress watch. You know, I'm giving it a good grade here. I really like the thin hands, the blued hands. Looks good. Total score of 84. 18th place is the Elka MSO 4WO. Is that really the name of the watch? That's crazy. $2,173, only 36 millimeters, 10.5 thick, totally sterile, except for the brand name and automatic and Swiss made. So I gave it minimal printing. Actually, that should have been 3 lines of text. Okay, so it should have gotten maybe a -1 here. That's all right. The white is really striking, especially with the white strap. Not a huge fan of white straps. I might actually change that. They say it's leather. It looks kind of like silicone, but they say leather. It's a good look for a dress watch. It's got that domed crystal. That's why it's 10.5 thick. Again, some people say domed is fine, doesn't bother them. It does make the watch less easy to slip under the cuff when you have a tall crystal like that. Cool watch. Score of 84. 19th place is the Beau Bleu Ecce Figura Sienna. Are these guys Italian? Or no, it says Paris on it. Okay, so that's French. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. I'm sorry. $1,139, 38.6 presents, based on a 30 by 39 millimeter area, and thickness of 8.6. So yeah, another lugless design. Really cool stepped case. I like that a lot. The color of the case is very interesting. You don't see this color very often. It's not quite a gold. I think I called it gold PVD case because it's gold. It's kind of a gold tone, but I don't know what the real metal analog would be. Doesn't look like yellow gold, doesn't look like pink gold, doesn't look like any of those things. It's kind of their own color. The hands, obviously. Crazy circular hands. What was the other brand? There's a Russian brand that does these. I want to say it's Raketa. I think Raketa does circle hands like this. So not a completely original idea, but it's very distinctive and very interesting. No minute track, no date. Very prominent, striking blue second hand that's going to be gliding along. It's a really interesting watch, and that's why I sent it to the finalists. Just think it's got a lot of character to it. See how it does in the top 10. Score of 84. 20th place, the Mido Baroncelli Signature. There's other Baroncellis, so this is the signature one. $1,030, 39 across, 9.9 thick. It's a good dress watch. Some things I might like to change. That's why it's not scoring higher than it is, but decent dress watch, very minimal. Got the monochromatic scheme here, except for the blue second hand, sweeping second hand. Very elegant. The crown did make it under. Once I started doing those boxes, really made it more objective, because this looks like a medium crown to me, but apparently it's small. Total score of 84. 21st place is the Stova Antia Classic KS. $1,184, 35.5 across, 6.9 thick. I don't know why the product image looks like this, because when you look at pictures of it, it's just straight up copper, like a copper penny. It looks kind of like wheat or something on this product image. It's very odd. Again, it's sort of a derivative of the marine watches with the blue hands here. It's kind of a German sort of thing. It's got long lugs, sort of like the Nomos, very similar to the Nomos. Stova is one of those original makers of the Flieger watches. I'm glad they're still in business. They don't have a ton of watches in their catalog. This is one of them. It is hand winding. That's how it's able to be so thin. It's a great size, very similar to the Nomos, actually. It's like half the cost of that Nomos Ludwig. Nice small second. It's a cool one. Score of 84. 22nd is the Mido Baroncelli Heritage. Slightly different than the signature. It's $1,300, 39 millimeters across, 7.3 thick. Got a PVD case. Rose gold hands. A little bit of texture or something on the dial. This cream dial. Strap looks really nice. What does it say? Oh, it's still just stamped leather. It's not actual crocodile. Looks really good, though. Nice and thin. Total score of 84. 23rd place is the Union Glashutte Vero. $2,207, 39 across, 9.3 thick. One of these kind of bland dress watches. I think it'll serve you really well if you just really want kind of a plain dress watch. No frills to it. Kind of just a good all-rounder, I suppose. Unfortunately, it does have loomed hands. Don't know why that's on there. And the second and they kind of get more of an everyday, like a business watch or something. Not super formal looking, but it can do double duty. I think if you wear this to a formal event, it's still a good dress watch. Total score of 84. 24th place is the Movado Museum Classic. $1,095, 40 millimeters across, 8 thick. These Movados are so classic. The design is it's really nice. No indexes, no second hand, just that nice, cool setting sun. What do they call it? They say it's supposed to make you think about the sun rising. I really like it. The name of it is really cool too. Like you wear it to a museum or something. Crown is larger than I'd like to see. The case is a little big too. It's a 40. They do make smaller versions of this in ladies' versions. I don't think they scored quite as well as this one though. There's a lot of different versions of Movados, And appears to be the highest scoring Movado so far. It's nice and thin. It does have an automatic Swiss movement, which they tell you on the dial. It's very elegant. I think it would look perfect with a tuxedo. I think a black dial is actually pretty nice with the tuxedo. I'm actually very fond of this Vostok. It's a black dial. I think it goes well with the tuxedo to have a black dial. Traditionally, for dress watches, light dials are preferred, but I like this one a lot. Total score of 83. 25th place is the Ferrer Lethbridge. It's $1,185. It's a feel of a 39.8, so closer to a 40. The dimensions are 38.5 across. But yeah, you've got a little more case material. It's not a circle. It's 10.5 thick. Probably the classiest looking Ferrer I have ever seen. Most of their watches are, just to me, not pleasing to look at because the colors are just so loud, so bright. Like purple mixed with lime green and stuff like that. Just really oppressive colors. This is very classy. It's kind of the exception in Ferrer's catalog. You know, a nice looking watch. I really like it. The case is a little bit chunky though for a dress watch. I still think it's a good dress watch. You know, it's gold and got the small second. It looks very classy, but it's not top of the pack by any means. It's 25th place. It is a hand winding movement. I have chosen it as finalist for the final runoff. Total score of 83. 26th place. Maybe this is a better Movado, the Movado 1881 Auto. Technically scored the same as the Museum Classic, but I would take the Museum Classic over this one. This one does have more text on it, unfortunately. It has that really cool, call it guilloche. I don't think they used a rose engine lathe, but an interesting pattern like this does give it a little bit of a bonus. A little bit thicker than that Museum Classic. It's 9 millimeters instead of 8. It's not gold. Gold is nice. This logo up here, it looks like there's a little dark part. That's just from the photography. It's a mirror polished circle, so it's going to look different every time you look at it. I think you can see that in the pictures I have of it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Movado. Some people write them off as a fashion watch brand, but fashion watch and dress watch are kind of the same thing. You know, I don't really know how you could draw the line between those two watch types. This one looks really classy. Like it a lot. Total score of 83. 27th place is the Union Glashutte Ceres. $2,230, 36 across, 9.9 thick. And it almost looks like a jump hour watch, but no, that's a date here at 12 o'clock. It's unusual for a watch to have a date at 12. That's a distinguishing thing about this. They even gave it a little sub-dial. Gives it more flair, more character. They have a really nice pattern here on the dial. Unfortunately, these numbers are really prominent. I don't know why we need such prominent numbers on the small seconds. It looks kind of weird to me. Personally, I would just make the second hand a little bit longer and just have little dots. We don't need the numbers. I like the applied little indexes here. Gives it more three-dimensionality. Very interesting one. I have chosen it to be in the finalists. Total score of 83. 28th place is the Echo Nutra Rivenera. $1,810. Good grief. 34.4 millimeter presence, 5.9 thick. So it's a very thin watch. They've chosen this really weird way to finish the case. It is a grade 5 titanium case, but I gave it the penalty of rough finishing because it's not polished. That kind of goes against the formal thing. I do like the retro look to it. This is really classy. Even their logo is okay. You know, they did the lowercase thing. I think that's already starting to be dated to do that. It's got a lot of character to this watch. So you have to be on board with the character. They did one Breguet hand just for the hour, and then they have a fence post or a needle minute hand. That's a little quirky to have the hands not totally match. The neat one, a little bit rough though. Score of 83. The Raymond Weil Toccata Classic. $1,150, 34 only across, and 7 millimeters thick. Yeah, it's a great size. As I am constantly beating the drum, I think 34 is a really nice dress watch size. Like to see more of that going on in the watch world. As we get up in price, we do see that more because I think it's just a reality of dress watches. You know, the really, really high scoring ones in the like ultra luxury price range, they're often like 37 or stuff, something like that. They tend to overall be smaller. At least that's my impression. Like the blued hands, like the Roman numerals that are kind of angled. The date window is unsightly. They missed that part. Because people like having the date on their watch, though. If the dress watch ethos says you don't need a second hand, you really don't need a date either. Not during the ballet. Like, what do you need a date complication for when you're at the ballet or you're at the award ceremony or whatever? A dress watch is not a watch you're supposed to be wearing every day. It's when you suit up. Total score of 82. 30th place is the Longines Dolce Vita, $2,000. Presence of like a 37 approximately, 10.3 thick. And yeah, the area is only 28 left to right, but it is 38 and a half long. So when you have the suit on, you're really only seeing the top to bottom length. You're not going to see the left to right length as much. And actually, the Raymond Weil, I forgot to mention, the Raymond Weil Toccata Heritage, they had a version of that told you how far your cuffs should go across the watch. And they say for really formal, it should be almost entirely covering the watch. The watch should just peek out ever so slightly. So again, that I made the point earlier that that's one reason to have these rectangle watches is you can only a little bit's poking out, but you can still see almost the entire watch. This is longer than a lot of these rectangle watches are. Kind of looks feminine to me, but it's a man's size. 47 millimeter lug to lug. It's going to take up a lot of room on your wrist. That's not a problem. It's not going to be small, even though you might think it was small because it's 28 left to right. Probably just need to try on the rectangle watches to really know how they're going to feel on your wrist. This one actually is a chronometer. I wonder if that's the first one, but it has the chronometer certification. Really nice tank alternative because Cartiers are more expensive than this. It will be one of the finalists. Total score of 82. A beautiful one in 31st place is the Leico Edition 100. $1,760. 38 millimeters across, 9.8 thick. It's too bad they didn't get it thinner, but that's still totally suitable. Leico mostly makes pilot watches, so it's interesting that they have a dress watch in their collection. It's a really nice retro-looking watch. I love the tuxedo pattern. Looks great with a tuxedo, I'm sure. It's gold, it's going to be nice. I mean, I would love to have this watch. It's beautiful. It's a good size. There's no date on it. Unfortunately, it does have the second hand. They have loom. You see the loom here at every hour. It looks ugly. It's not necessary. So that's a downside to the watch. I have chosen it as a finalist. We'll see how it does in the final runoff. Total score of 82. 32nd place is the Marie Lacroix 1975 automatic. $1,400, 36 across, 10 millimeters thick. Very prominent track here. That is not needed on a dress watch. That would be better if it was more minimal. Yeah, it's got a penalty there for that. I like their logo. They've got good brand strength, 7 out of 10. Pretty good brand strength. Swiss-made watch, Swiss movement inside. Crown's a little bit big. Total score of 82. 33rd place, another Epos. This is the Epos 4390 Diamond. Got some diamonds on here. $2,230. Only 34 millimeters across, 8 thick. As a 34, they probably market it as a woman's watch, but I think it'll look great with a suit. Not going to be too small. I have figured out what too small is. That Raymond Weil, the little tiny one, that was too small. This one is not too small. Really big crown here. Got the large crown penalty. Total score of 82. 34th place is the Minim MN01 Bickel, and then some Chinese symbol. $1,599, 36.5 across, 9.5 thick. They went nuts with the rose engine lathe. Beautiful guilloche dial. I love that. It is a loud color though, and the blue is maybe the least offensive of the color. The purple is very striking as well. These are loud watches designed to attract attention, which sometimes is good in formal events. You just want a really impressive watch. You want to show off. This one will do it. It does have a hand-winding Swiss movement inside. The Chinese numbers on the dial. That's pretty darn cool. Okay, apparently it's a UK watch, but there are actually Chinese characters on here. Apparently this character here means autumn. According to AI, that's what it means. Cool. But this will be a finalist. I think it's got a ton of character, the coin edge bezel. Really cool watch. We'll see how it does in the final runoff. Score of 82. 35th place is the Mido Rainflower. $1,320, 34 millimeters, 9.8 millimeters thick. It gave it a faceted bezel. It's not really faceted, but it's an interesting bezel they have going on here. The hands are really cool. I love these skeletonized, kind of leafy looking hands. The pattern is really, really cool. I even like the diamonds. I would totally rock this watch. Really striking watch. Clearly designed for women, but like I said, I would personally rock this one. I would not have a problem with that. Total score of 82. 36th place is the Titoni Line 1919. Oh, they tell you right there. $2,100, 40 millimeters across, 10.5 thick. Really bold date there. Man, they could have made it a little more subtle. Good grief. Just another one of these kind of plain, dressy looking watches. I think it is a good dress watch still. Not top of the pack. They did a lot of things right with it though. Total score of 82. 37th place is an oddball. The Mole's 528 S2 Solo Argento. $1,817. Presence of almost 42 millimeters. Thickness of 8.7. Very short lug to lug of only 38.7. The area of the square is 43 left to right, 32 top to bottom. It's a weird one. And they moved the dial to the right. So if you're right-handed wearing a watch on your left wrist, it will peek out under that cuff a little bit better. That's odd. It's very odd. The one that they have that's black and gold, that is really striking. You know, the sunburst pattern, looking 50s or something. It's a very interesting watch. I do wonder what the lug width is. This is 43. It's going to be a wide lug width. You can get it on a leather strap, which is better than silicone. Hand winding movement, no second hand, no date. It's an interesting one, a conversation piece. Total score of 82. 38th place is the Ferrer Paris Tonneau. $1,285, a feel of like a 38, and thickness of 10.6. So it's not going to be totally gigantic. It's just 35 one dimension, 36 the other. So it's almost a square, just slightly elongated. And then, well, obviously it's a tonneau shape. Not totally huge. It does look huge on some guys' wrists. And some of that is like how far away the camera is when you take the picture. You know, if it's at actual arm's distance, that looks different than when you have a camera in between your eye. So some of these pictures make it look bigger than it probably actually looks on a man. When I do my mock-ups, it's actual eye distance, so that's what you're going to see looking down at it. It's okay. I mean, like I said before, Ferrer just has these really bright colors that kind of turns me off, but some guys like a bright color. This pink is probably not so salmon. It's probably a brighter pink that they have. But it passes the class. I mean, more than passes the class. It gets a B- grade. Score of 82. 39th place is the Owan Geo Gotham Black. $1,690, 40 millimeters across, 10.9 thick. And yeah, it's an independent watchmaker. It's got a beautiful black stone dial here. Looks wonderful. Got this little small seconds. It's kind of cut out of the chapter ring. No text on the dial itself. They only put text here on the chapter ring. The 1 o'clock mark, they put Owan on one side and Geo on the other. Pretty cool. They have some other really cool watches that are more expensive. I think this is their cheapest one. So the other ones will be in the next price category. But independent watchmaker making nice watches. It's got a hand-winding Swiss movement. Beautiful watch. They don't show it on the strap, but you can choose which strap you like. You can get a leather strap. Really pretty watch. Score of 81. 40th place is the Accutron Legacy 412. $1,590. Only 34 millimeters across. Yes. Sadly, a thickness of 12.5. That's too thick. I don't know why it's dive watch thickness. The Rolex Submariner with a 300-meter water resistance rating only has a thickness of 12. So I don't know why it's dive watch thickness. That's absolutely crazy. Could do without the loom. The lugs are really cool, though. I love these kind of lugs. Similar to the cow horn lugs on that Redder. It's a cool look. This looks bizarre. Swiss made is really big. That should be a little smaller. I do really like this one. I love that it's 34 millimeters. So it's going to be one of the finalists. Total score of 80. 41st place is the Oris Artelier S. $2,300, 38 millimeters across, 11 thick. Really cool looking watch from Oris. It was almost a finalist. I have too many finalists in this video. I have more than I have been doing. I have 27. I have been trying to hit 25. Yeah, maybe I even have 28. I have too many watches. Yeah, I don't think this would have done all that great in the final runoffs because there's not a lot of character to it. It's not very impressive or anything. So it's a suitable dress watch, absolutely. It's reminding me of my plain Vostok. similar idea. This Vostok is 39 millimeters, just a black plain dress watch. It's a good look. I like that there's no counterbalance to the second hand. The hands are pretty interesting. I don't know whether there's loom on it. You don't need the loom. But yeah, it's a good dress watch. B minus. It's not even the lowest good grade dress watch. It's a cool one. They have a green one that looks pretty cool too. Total score of 80. 42nd place is the Frederique Constant Index, because they have one with numbers, I think. $1,595, 40 millimeters across, 10.3 thick. Available in a lot of different colors. 50 meters water resistance. That's kind of nice. Unfortunately, the date, the second. The crown is a medium crown. It's kind of big for a dress watch. It is a 40. Like I said, that's kind of out of my window. A little bit too big. I'd rather not have a 40. My preference is for the smaller size, like a 36, something like that. This is okay. Some guys are going to prefer the 40. I like the gold. It does have a fair amount of character. Again, not a finalist because I don't think it has enough character or impressiveness to it. It's just more impressive, formal-looking watches. It's kind of just middle of the pack sort of deal. Score of 80. 43rd place, the Alpina Heritage Tropic Proof. $1,995. Only 34.5 across. Excellent. 9.2 thickness. They chose some Fotina here. Really bold lettering. Got some thicker looking lugs here. So it is a dress watch. Can't say what other type of watch it would be. It's definitely a dress watch. But they're kind of toeing the line with looking a little bit more utilitarian. I like the fishing lure style indexes here. Total score of 80. 44th place, a very distinctive watch, the Hamilton Ventura S Automatic. $1,345, giving it a feel of 35.8. It's not very big. 34 left to right, 38 at its tallest point here. And that's not including the crown. It definitely has a large crown penalty. Apparently, Elvis liked the Ventura. It's kind of shaped like a guitar pick. It's very 50s. Got some really cool elements to it. It's reminding me of like the Cars in the 50s with the fins and everything. It's a cool look. Another conversation starter type of watch. Probably can't change the strap to something else. They say it's leather. There's no date or anything. Pretty cool watch. Don't need the loom. I like Hamilton's logo. Got a ton of brand strength. Total score of 80. 45th place is the Longines Silver Arrow. $1,750, 38.5 across, 9.9 thick. I don't think it's in their current catalog, but you can still find these from Prestige Time. You can see their watermark. You can get it new from them for probably this price right here. It's a cool one. I like this retro looking watch, and it's a suitable dress watch. It's a good dress watch. Score of 80. 46th place is the Limes Pharaoh Finesse. $1,525, 41.5 across, 10 millimeters thick. So yeah, it's too big. It's getting too big, but it has a lot of other redeeming things about it. It is kind of a blatant homage of Breguet. I don't know what the sides of the case look like. It might be a Breguet copy. I may have a picture of that. Hand-winding Swiss movement. I like the cap on the hands. That looks nice. I like the subdial here. It's a beautiful pattern. It's a cool looking watch, but do you really want homages when you're paying $1,500? I don't think I do, but total score of 80. 47th place is the Frederique Constant Carré. Does Carré just mean like a rectangle watch? Because we see that a lot. $1,095, 34 millimeter presence, based on dimensions of 25 by 36, and thickness of 6.4. This is one of the ones I put in the final runoff, and then when I mocked it up on the wrist, I thought, I just think that's a little too small. Yeah, it's looking a little too small. I still think it's okay, but I just had to kind of do a second pass for which ones I selected for top 10 to make sure I wasn't getting ones that were kind of weird. I had to like double the strap here and extend it to make it look like it's a full strap, because on the strap it doesn't cover the wrist, and you might actually have to get a longer strap if you buy this watch intending to wear it as a man. Just check if that strap's actually going to go around your wrist circumference. I really like the black. A lot of these kind of tanky watches have blue hands. It's cool that they went with the black. I say, who wants to spend over $1,000 for a homage? Well, with tank, it's a different kind of use of the word homage. It's not just a copy. That Limes was kind of just a copy of Breguet. This one, it's more like inspired by Cartier. Really like how this little track in here curves around the small second. It's really distinctive, pleasing. I mean, there's double railroad tracks, so I gave it the prominent minute track penalty. They did not do the Watchmaker's 4. Interesting. So sometimes you don't see it. They did the traditional Roman 4. It is a quartz watch, very thin, score of 79. 48th place is the famous Junghans Max Bill, $1,600, 38 across, 10 millimeters thick. It's a very famous watch, so it will be going to the finalists. Very minimalist, tiny little text here, tiny little hands, very thin lines. Some guys really like that. It doesn't do it for me. I'm not a Max Bill guy. It ends up being thick because of a domed crystal. Yeah, I mean, it's famous for a reason. People like it, so it deserves its place in the finalists. A little too plain for me, but it will serve you well as a dress watch. Score of 79. 49th place, a beautiful one, the Vulcain Grand Prix. $1,839, 39 millimeters across, 12.7 thick though. Huge domed crystal on this guy. Fortunately, it's got a lot of text on it. They kept the date off. I do appreciate that. The dial is gorgeous. It's going to look so good. Similar to this Technos, the sunburst. I don't like color sunburst styles, but like a gold or a silver or even maybe a black sunburst. I think those are all tasteful. It's going to look good. The thickness is definitely a problem on this one, though. Cool one, and definitely a good dress watch. Well, I'm saying it's an okay dress watch. It's getting a C+. Score of 79. 50th place is the Raymond Weil Milsim Central secondhand. $2,075, 39.5 cross, 9.3 millimeters thick. Really prominent minute track stuff going on here. It's got the sector dial with these loomed hands. The rose gold is kind of nice. They brushed the case, which is unfortunate. Well, it's a mix of polish and brush. The lugs are polished. Full polish is better for a dress watch. Total score of 79. 51st place is the Feynman 1 Galaxy. Or is it 1 Galaxy? I don't know. $1,500, 39 across, 11.5 thick. Got the cow horn lugs again. Some kind of horns. Really nice strap. They give you a lizard strap. Sweet. Don't see a lot of lizard straps, but I think they really class up a watch. I have this lizard stamped strap on my Technos, and I really like it. It's a good look. Thick bezel. I like the small second here. The aventurine looks really nice. Got some guilloche on the chapter ring. Beautiful watch. Score of 79. 52nd place is the Glycine Bien, 1914. $1,579, 39 across, 11.5 thick. Glycine, why is it so thick? The domed crystal, I guess, because Glycine makes thinner watches. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. My Glycine Airman is very thin. Feels very thin for a tool watch. But yeah, this is a little too thick. Crown's kind of big. Really like the silver on silver. It's beautiful. The blue one looks pretty nice too, but I would go with silver personally. It's a pretty looking watch. Glycine has good brand strength. When I pulled the watchcharts.com data, Glycine was still up there. Total score of 79. 53rd place is the Certina DS1 Big Date. $1,212, 41 millimeters across, 10.3 thick. If you like the Big Date complication, Certina makes this one. It's part of the conversation, I would assume. Cool indexes. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, okay, it's just like shadows or something. I think this is just a circle. It's not some weird shape. Suitable dress watch, not top of the class. Did lose a little bit of points for the Big Date. Regular Date gets a -2. This one gets a -4. So, because the Big Date's like double the size for a simple dress watch. But if you love a Big Date, obviously you reverse that penalty entirely and you say, this is awesome, I love a Big Date. Score 79. 54th place is the Junghans Meister. $1,740, 40.4 across, 10.9 thick. They did applied indices at the quadrants with a thicker one at the 12, and then printed for here. Similar to the Junghans Max Bill, these lines being super thin. Although the Max Bill had thinner lines than this even. I guess it's a kind of a dressier Max Bill, but then there's loom on the hands and this ugly date window. I think they're confused about what this watch is. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Still looks pretty nice, and it is suitable as a dress watch. Score of 79. 55th place is the Gavril GV2 Rome. $2,295, only a 36 millimeter, 9 millimeters thick. Very narrow lug width here. So it is more of a lady's watch. They did kind of make the strap a little bit wider than the lugs. They could have made the lug width wider. That would have been better for a man. It does have a cabochon crown. For some reason, we haven't seen that many cabochon crowns in this price range. It's kind of odd, but here's one of them. It does have the diamonds with this weird textured ring in the middle. They say diamond on the dial. That's a cheesy thing to do. Very cheesy. We do not need to see that. Total score of 79. 56th place, a really cool one from Accutron. It's the Accutron Legacy 2SW6A002. $1,550. Presence of 38.4. It's this irregular shape. 12.6 thick. Like that other Accutron, they're just so thick. When you see them from the side, it looks ridiculous. I don't know why Accutron makes such thick watches. I guess they're using, well, because Accutron comes from Bulova, and Bulova is owned by Mido, right? Citizen Mido. I don't know why these watches are so huge. I can't figure that out. It's only 30 meters water resistance. I love this engraving on the case. I love the irregular shape. It's so cool. So it's going to be in the finalists. We'll see how it does in the runoff. They call it a 34 by a 34, but there's a lot of extra stuff going on with the case. It's going to wear probably more like a 38 is what I'm estimating. Good brand strength with Accutron. Got a lot of cool dressy watches in their catalog. I don't know if I got them all, but I got some really cool ones. Total score of 78. 57th place, the Alpina Heritage Carré. $1,895. 40.2 presence. Thickness of 9.7. And I've said before, with rectangle watches, really want to look at the lug to lug. That tells you a lot about how big it's going to wear. This one has a 46.2 millimeter lug to lug. It's going to be too big for a lot of guys. It's just a big watch. 39 top to bottom. It's not crazy, but I think it will look kind of large. It'll look like on the larger size. I love this layout here. Reminds me of the Reverso that has the Arabic numbers. The step case gives it some more personality though. I like the gold hands on the black dial. Minimal text, no date. Good one. Score of 78. 58th place is the Accutron Legacy 521. $1,590. 36.8 millimeter presence. Thickness of 12.5. Again, so thick with these Accutrons. And yeah, it's based on like a 33 by 33-ish square sort of thing. Yeah, you know, the presence, I'm saying, more like a 37. Lug to lug is not crazy. 42 is not ridiculous. This Seiko tank has a 38.5 lug to lug. That kind of gives you an idea of what, 42 is going to have a little bit longer lugs there. But you can see these lugs stick out a lot. Interesting how you have these opposing chunky parts on either side. Very cool watch. Just exuding character out the wazoo. I like the little horns on the second hand. Cool one. Score of 78. 59th place is the Epos 3390. I feel like we've seen this one before, but it had diamonds on it. This one is $1,950 to 41 millimeter. Okay, so it's a different watch. It's a big watch. 9 millimeters thick. Too big for me, but not too big for some guys. It's a suitable dress watch. C+ grade. Score 78. The Ferrer Solander. $1,295. 38 millimeters across, 8 millimeters thick. This is the black one. It's not totally black. It's more like a graphite, or what do they call it? Like a charcoal or something. It looks good. And then you've got the full black for the subdial. That offers some interesting contrast here. I don't like the minute Arabics on the outside. That's not a dress watch thing. I don't know what type of watch it's supposed to be, but you can pass it as a dress watch. It gets in there. Not the best. Score 78. 61st place is the Stova Marine Classic KS36 Romans. $1,134. 36 millimeters. 8.5 thick. Huge crown on it. And this is the first one that actually calls itself a marine watch. We will see more that say they're marine watches or deck watches. I guess the idea is you're in the Navy, and in the Navy they liked watches like this for some reason. Maybe there's a clock. Sorry, I don't know the history about marine watches, but this is one of them. There's a bunch more in the video as well. Did decide to put this as a finalist. It does look pretty dressy. A little bit utilitarian, but it's also dressy. They made the 6 a little smaller to accommodate the subdial. It's pleasing. I like it. They did the Watchmaker's 4. This hand-winding Swiss movement. Stova's got some brand heritage. Total score of 77. 62nd place is the Boblo Etchy Vesperal. $1,139. 39 across, 9.5 thick. It is French, so automatique here. I like this little date circle. Circles are kind of fun. It's got a blue ring, gigantic second circle that are not, I guess they're still hands, but instead of being sticks, they're circles. And I like how these rings are all very different sizes. That other one, the rings were similar in size, like maybe the minute and the second were the same size. This is a better way to do the rings if you're doing rings. A lot of character. The case is interesting. It's very circular. This one does have actual alligator leather and a deployant clasp. So we don't see that a ton in this price range. We'll see it more as we go up. Those are good things to do. Total score of 77. 63rd place is the Bruno Sunli Bergamo Automatic. $1,991, 39 millimeters across, 10.7 thick. Apparently it's made in Glashutte. I like the date cutout. That's interesting. I like the darker silver dial. You get a little BS rivet here. Decent dress watch, score is 77. 64th place, the Vulcain Grand Prix Small Second. $1,989, 39 millimeters across, 12.7 thick. Again, really thick. Probably due to a high domed crystal. Do like the Oris 4 here. Curved 4. I like that. The numbers are all kind of squat. It's interesting. Yeah, you can see the distortion from the crystal. So maybe you prefer that. I like the white hands. It's a pleasing watch. I guess we already saw Vulcain Grand Prix. This is the small second version. Alligator leather, ethically sourced is probably what they'll tell you. Total score of 77. 65th is the Archimede Classic 200. $1,219, 39 across, 10.8 thick. It's a plain looking watch. Minute track is too prominent for a dress watch. Lume is no good. Central second, date. You know, the watches that are good in other ways, but they have those limitations, those are the ones getting the OK grade, the C grade. And yeah, we'll just see a lot more of that. A lot more date, a lot more second, a lot more lume. Decent dress watch. Score of 77. 66th is the March Lab AM69. $1,730. It's only a 36. 12.5 thick. That crown is way too big for a dress watch. Still technically just a medium. You really have to have a big crown to get a large penalty. It just barely squeezed into that little box. Interesting lugs. They kind of look like wings or something. Like a TIE fighter. Get a sector dial. I like that they put them on this green background. It's a classy way to take a picture of your watch. Total score 77. 67th place, the Seiko Presage SPB 529J1. $1,050, 40.2 across, 13 thick. Even, I think that's the thickest one we've seen. Very, very thick. The strap does not look high quality to me whatsoever. Looking pretty ugly. Got this coin edge bezel, which is nice. The automatic 3 days thing, that's marketing. And, you know, Seiko likes to put marketing on their watches. I don't think it's great for a dress watch. Being brown, it might not go great with a tuxedo. It's something to keep in mind if you think you'll be wearing a tux. Gets the in-house bonus. Score 77. 68th place is the Parallel. Should be another R here. Weekend. $1,540. 39 across. 9.6 thick. A lot of colors on this one. Just kind of a plain, dressy looking watch. Just getting an okay grade. Score 77. 69th place is the Schomburg Classic Roman. $1,739. 42 millimeters. 11 millimeters thick. Beautiful guilloche. I like that they just cut out the subdial for the small second. They did a really beautiful pattern here on the bridge or whatever that is here, the plate. I guess that's a plate. Get to see a couple jewels and a blued screw. It's cool to see that through the dial. I will have a video just on skeleton watches and a video on open heart. This isn't really open heart or skeleton. It's very slightly open worked. Yeah, I know there's a distinction between open work and skeleton. Dive into that deeper when I get to that video. But yeah, this is just a simple dress watch. A little touch of, you get to see inside. Nice hands. I think these are brown hands. You can see them in different lights. That's really cool. I love brown hands. Looks like a Breguet, except for these chunky slab lugs here. Those are big. When all is said and done, it gets a score of 77. 70th place is the Titoni Master Series chronometer. $1,905, 41 across, 10.8 thick. It's kind of a plain looking watch. A ton of text here. Extraneous text. Yeah, that's too much. We don't need all that. Officially certified chronometer. Master Series. You could cut 2 of these lines easily. That would improve the watch. Interesting crown. I like this funny pattern on it. It's kind of wavy pattern. It's really cool. Very chunky lugs. Score of 77. And here's where that Raymond Weil would have ended up. The little tiny one. 71st place is the Elka D01-0804. $2,058. 40.8 across, 10.8 thick. Beautiful what they've done here. I love silver with little gold indexes, like this Technos I have. It's a beautiful look. Don't need the date though. It is too big. It's a 41. Too big for a dress watch, in my opinion. I do really like their text here they used for their brand name. Total score of 76. 72nd place is the Titoni Cosmo. $1,020, 33.5 only. Very small watch. One of the smaller ones. Thickness of 10.5. I really liked this one. I was very interested in it. What was it in? The Gotta Watch series, I think. Because you can get it on a bracelet. It's an interesting one, but, you know, it's just kind of an okay dress watch. Score 76. 73rd place is the Longines Conquest Classic 34. $1,100. Only 34 millimeters across. 8.9 millimeters thick. The Longines, and it's kind of a dressy one. It would score a lot better with off the bracelet. So if you slap this thing on leather, which you can't buy it that way, but you can change it after the fact, you know, it becomes a better dress watch. Does unfortunately have a ticking quartz second hand, which is not totally aligned in the photo. It's just how they work. I think that's the reason people like the sweep second, is because you don't have to see it missing the marks and stuff. Total score of 76. 74th place is the Isotope Flyway Cold Gray. $1,374. 36 millimeter. 12.3 millimeters thick. It has that hobnail bezel. Probably aren't a ton of watches that get this particular designation, like their little teardrop logo, upside down teardrop. It's cool. Decent dress watch, would score better if you take it off the bracelet. Score 76. And to illustrate the point once more, you can see which one looks more formal between the bracelet and the strap. And that, of course, is why the strap is preferred for formal. 75th place is the Armand Nicolet A740C. $2,015, 41 millimeters across, 11.9 thick. Counterbalance is pretty cool. No hour indexes, no minute marks, just plain there. But then, bizarrely, a date window. Colors are kind of odd on this as well. So I don't know what they were thinking with this one. And it's huge. 48 millimeter lug to lug. It's a larger watch. It's kind of thick too. We'll score 76. C grade. 76th place is the Traumatic Archivio Uno. What's the Uno for? Who knows? $1,050. 38 millimeters across, 10 millimeters thick. 26 rubies. Okay. Swiss movement. I don't remember which one has 26. Yeah, a little bit retro. The delta shape for the 10-0 here is pretty cool. It looks pretty dressy, but it also looks quirky. Suitable dress watch. Score of 76. 77th place is the Movado Heritage 1917. $1,495. Presence of almost a 40. Thickness of 9 millimeters. Yeah, it looks very different from other watches that Movado makes. They kind of branched out. The other ones don't have lume, but they put lume on this one. That was an odd choice. It's just kind of weird. The overall impression is just like, it's unusual. Not in a good way. It's not like it even has that much character. It's just kind of odd. Total score of 75. 78th place, the Frederique Constant High Life. This is the 39 version. You know, it's 39 left to right. $2,316. I'm calling it a feel of closer to a 43. There's a lot of case. A lot of case here. 10.4 thick. And you can get it on the leather. That looks pretty good. The one you see more often is on the bracelet, though. It did pretty well as a Gotta watch. I'm trying to remember. I think it scored really well. Not as great for a dress watch. Kind of do double duty, I suppose. Well, that's the point of Gotta, is you can do semi-formal and casual. So it can kind of tick a lot of boxes here. I don't care for the little minute Arabics. That's not ideal. It's losing a lot of points here for being kind of big. I think they make a even bigger one than this, though. And again, when you don't have a jacket on, you can kind of get away with larger size of a watch. The jacket is what makes the smaller size more necessary, so it doesn't look ridiculous. 79th place is the Epos 3501. Another Epos. We've seen a lot of Epos watches. $1,420, 41 millimeter diameter, and 10.5 thick. I like the rose gold with the silver, but it's just kind of too big. It's got this big crown here, calling it a medium crown, I suppose. It's a passing dress watch, not top of the class. Score 75. 80th place is the Heinrich Radiance, $1,120, 38.5 millimeters left to right, 8 millimeters thick. Really interesting what they've done here. It's kind of a reverse tuxedo, black on the outside, silver on the inside. Kind of looks like a saw, circular saw. It's pretty cool. Like the little lion with a crown on. The bracelet is really interesting. It looks kind of an industrial look to this one, but it also looks a little bit classy. It is a hand-winding movement. Took it off the bracelet and put it on a leather strap. You could get up to a score of 80. So it could be a good dress watch that way. Or the bracelet on the weekend, or just put it on the leather for a formal event. I think it would work great for that. Score of 75. 81st place is the Tissot Ballade. $1,100, 39 millimeters across, 11 thick. I love the dial. That looks really cool. The fluted bezel looks cool with it as well. You get this Jubilee bracelet. Looking more like a sports watch than a dress watch. It's a little bit dressy, the Romans. And it's a chronometer. That's pretty cool. Powermatic 80 chronometer. Score 75. 82nd place is the Mr. Jones Color Ven. $1,009. It's a 40 across and 11.6. This would be better in their 37 millimeter case. It's unfortunate it's in the 40. Particularly because I think I've seen a lot of pictures of women with this watch. I think the 37 would fit the women a lot better than the 40. But yeah, clearly the cool thing here is you get these colors coming out. And it looks kind of weird at certain times of the day. This time of the day looks really nice. You can see all the colors very easily. Where the second hand is. Which one's the second? Is the pink the second? Must be. Yeah, I bet that's a lot of fun to see the different colors it makes. Fun for an artist. And it's a decent dress watch. A little bit bright. Yeah, I gave it a loud colors designs penalty. A small penalty because, you know, if you're dressing up, sometimes it's nice to have a conversation piece. Score of 75. 83rd place is the Holgar Mother of Pearl. $1,095, 38 across, 9 millimeters thick. Crazy case shape. Totally ridiculous. These Roman numerals are very cool, though, how they narrow as they go into the dial. Oh, but here they narrow the other way. Either way, the Roman numerals look really, really cool. Obviously, the Mother of Pearl is nice. The 904L steel. Don't see that very often. Not at all familiar with the brand. I think they just make kind of ladies fashion-y things. Hard to find pictures of them, too. Score 75. 84th place is the Baltic. Wait. I mean, Frederique Constant Premier. Looking a lot like a Baltic. $2,395, 38.5 millimeters across, 10.7 millimeters thick. The salmon is really nice. I like a salmon dial. It would do a lot better off the Jubilee bracelet. Could get up to a 79. Got your Breguet hands, Breguet numerals. I'd like to see these minute Arabics off. It's an interesting watch. Definitely a cool one. I like the polished numerals for the hours. Score of 74. 85th place is the Christopher Ward the 12. It's a sports watch through and through, but it skates in as a dress watch. Can do double duty. $1,405. Feel of a 40.5. They make these in so many different sizes. It's like you can get a 37 or a 38 or a 39 or a 40. Like so many options. I chose the 38, which has a feel more like a 40 and a half. And it's 10 thick. Beautiful pattern on the dial. You know, I know people raved about this when it came out. It's a cool watch. I like the 12-sided bezel here. I call it faceted. I did. Faceted bezel. Guilloche dial. I don't know if they use a rose engine lathe, but it's a really cool pattern. It's kind of got their logo all over the place. Bracelet is similar to the Tissot PRX kind of idea. Good looking bracelet. And it is nice that it's brushed. It allows it to catch the light a little better when it's brushed like that. You know, AP figured that out with the Royal Oak. These wings are a little funny. Sorry, remove background didn't do a good job here. It's not very clean. Everyone takes their pictures on a white background, and I can't. I can't do it. I don't want to subject you guys to all the white in your face. But then sometimes removing the background makes it look funky. Cool watch. Again, more of a sport watch than a dress watch. Score 74. 86th is the Mula Glashutte Teutonia 2 Medium. $2,299. 34 millimeters. They're calling medium. 11.7 thick. Long, long lugs with a screw bar in them. Big crown. Yeah, this one actually got the large crown penalty. Black hands are looking cool. Kind of leaf-shaped, thick needle second. Really nice pattern on the dial. That looks really good. Nice one, kind of pricey. Score of 74. 87th place is the Ariane Minimal Enamel. $1,073. 41 across. 13 thick. 13? As thick as that Seiko. So we've got two of them that have joined the 13 club. This is one of them. Very thick. It does have, automatic unadjusted. What would that be with a small second? Maybe it's a Chinese movement? I don't remember what movement this thing has that's unadjusted. Because the alternative would be, it would say automatic Swiss. Apparently it's not a Swiss movement. It's interesting. I gave it the beautiful texture bonus, because this is a really beautiful texture on the dial. But the thickness and the size are really holding it back. A lot of penalties here. Barely skating in, score 74. 88th place is the Monta Noble. Another one that did really well in the Gotta Watch series. $1,895, 38.5 across, 9.7 thick. It's brushed. It's a sports watch. Total score 74. 89th place is another Limes. The Limes Pharaoh Big Date. $2,162, 40.5 across, 11 thick. It also has a power reserve. Power reserve and a big date. It's pretty cool. Copying the Breguet design language almost identically. Looks pretty cool. I have a Chinese tourbillon watch that copies that Breguet design exactly. And it's a good design. It looks good. Medium crown penalty. Ickler, Germany. Okay, it's made in Ickler. Cool. Total score 74. 90th place is the Delma Classic. $1,100, 40 millimeters, 11.5 thick. What to say? It's kind of just a plain watch. You can use as a dress watch if you want to. We've seen a lot better than this one. Barely making it in. Score 74. 91st place is the Hanhart Silva. $1,509, 38.5 and 10 millimeters thick. These gigantic numerals really take away from the dressiness of it. Also, the case shape is a little bit chunky. Maybe it's more of like a business watch. I don't know. Not really appealing to me. I like Hanhart for their chronographs and stuff. This one's not doing it for me. Score 74. 92nd place is the Armand Nicolet A740A. $2,015, 41 millimeters across, 11.9 thick. Ugly, unsightly minute Arabics out here. And then this little deal with the marketing and the date, like we can see the date. I'm not a fan of that. The pattern here is beautiful. This is kind of ugly, the 12. It's just a mix of a lot of things. A mix of good things and bad things. And they slapped it all together. Not for me. It's way too big. Score 74. 93rd place is the Marie Lacroix Acon Date. The 39 millimeter version. $2,250, 42 millimeters feel. All this extra case material. 11 thick. Got the beautiful Clou de Paris. They even have a nice leather strap that you can get this one on. Most of these colors come on a bracelet, but this one, this kind of, is it ecru? Like a brown gray color. That one comes with this nice brown alligator, stamped leather strap. Does have a deployant clasp, so that's kind of nice too. It did get the blocky case penalty. Not very sleek. It's not very dressy. It's a really cool watch though. I think their dive version did really well in like the smaller dive watch video. Total score of 73. 94th place is the Hamilton Jazzmaster Auto. I already saw a Jazzmaster that was an automatic. This is another one. This is the one with the Romans. It's $1,125. It's 40 millimeters across. It's 11.1 millimeters thick. Got these interesting lugs here with the little bumps over there. I like the gray and gold. That's pretty cool. Again, the loom should be off. Get that loom out of here. This text is too dark. I think just like a slate color would look a lot better. You don't need full black on your white dial. It's ugly. I could do a subtler color here, just like barely darker than the dial. I think would look fantastic. Barely passing. Score 73. 95th place is the Louis Erard Excellence Petite Seconde. It's actually kind of a big second, but it's not as big as a central second. $2,210, 42, and it's a 12.3 thick. Yeah, it's just so darn big. I mean, it's a really classy looking watch. That's the only way it skates in because the size is a big problem here. It's a cool looking one. Not for me though. Score of 73. 96th place is the March Lab AM2. $1,945. 41 millimeter presence based on a 36-ish square, and 11.3 millimeters thick. They do that funny date thing with the neon green numbers. It's a quirky thing they do. They also have that green case back. Can't remember if this one has it. The green glass on the exhibition case back. It's a quirky thing. This is really weird, and I don't like it. It looks really rough. It looks like they didn't plan out what this should be here. It just looks wrong. I don't really get these ones. They're a little too funky for me. Score 73. 97th place is the Milu Lab 01. $1,350. 40 millimeters across. 9.5 thick. Cool, like ice pattern or something on the dial. I like what I'm seeing here. Beautiful blue hands. Sort of like a minimalist deck watch, you know, without the numbers. You swap it off the mesh bracelet, it'll score slightly better. It could get up to a 75 on the stamped leather with the pin buckle. Still a passable dress watch, but not for me. Score 73. 98th place is the Furlon Mari White Sector. $1,577. 37.5 across, 10.5 thick. Numbers everywhere, lines everywhere. It's a lot of oppressive printing. Even this 2161-A. Who wants that on the watch? I don't like that. It's got a sector. Well, they say they do. Other watches did silver hour and minute with blue second. These guys did the opposite. Got your Breguet numerals at the quadrants. Barely passes. Looks like corn de vache here, like the cow horns. Score 73. 99th place, the Ferragamo Edge. $1,295. Feel of like a 38.7 with all this case and 7.4 thick. Even though it's a 34 millimeter, I think it's going to have a lot more presence than that just due to the way that the case is. I mean, these lugs go way out. Yeah, the effective case shape, it goes all the way to here. Yeah, let's see here. Lug to lug is 43.6. Normal lug to lug length. You do get the ticking court second. 8 is like some kind of chain link thing. It's cool. I don't know if this is some brand of fashion or something. It probably is. Score 73. 100th place, I'm getting deja vu, is the March Lab AM89. And yeah, we covered the AM69 earlier, and it looks nearly identical, but it's a 36 millimeter. This one's $1,745, 38 millimeters, 14.5 thick. Good grief. The hamburger on your wrist. Why is it so thick? Gigantic watch. I don't know. We kind of already covered it with the other one. Score of 73. 101st place is the Formex Essence 39. $2,095. And it's going to have a feel more like a 40.5, the way they did this. Maybe I shouldn't have done feel on this one. Yeah, I do feel on every kind of watch there is. This one does have a larger presence than a normal watch, just with how they did the lugs. But yeah, maybe gratuitous. Only 10 millimeters thick, though. That's really nice. It's a highlight of the watch. It is a chronometer. You can see on the dial. They usually come on bracelets, but you can get this one on this nice brown strap. Looks a little bit distressed. That's not usually what you want on a dress watch. You usually want things to look nice and not distressed. My tuxedo here, I've had this since I was 18 years old. So 25 years? Is that right? I don't think I've ever laundered it. 25 years. Man, you don't want your coat to look distressed. Don't look too closely. I wear this very regularly for 25 years. I wish I could get my like canvas outdoorsy pants to last nearly as long as like these fine garments that just last decades. It's crazy. But anyway, yeah, sweep second on this. The date is unfortunate. They made the window even bigger than it needs to be. It's like these like window shutters on the side of it. We've got the Allen screws on the front. So it's not really getting the vibe so well. Oh, elegant vibe. I just didn't even score it. I probably would have given it like a 4 out of 10. Maybe it deserved an extra point or something. I think I scored this unfairly. Clearly, I forgot to do this step here. So I apologize, Formex. You should have scored slightly higher. Score of 73 or maybe 75, 76, something like that. 102nd place is the Steinhardt Baroque Classique. Here are the dimensions, 37 by 40, because I've got presence down here. It's $1,097. A feel like a 41 millimeter and thickness of 11. So it's going to wear pretty large, I think. Neat looking strap, although it's like painted on. The croc pattern is painted or something. That looks strange. Maybe it looks better in person. I really like this pattern in the middle. That's really nice. And the dark blue hands. Clearly not heat treated. They're like just painted blue, but it's pretty cool. The shape is really interesting. I don't understand the industrial thing they have going on here. You know, it looks like it's some part to a machine, some like fancy high-end machine. It's a cool look. It is just kind of large is the main issue. Yeah, the blocky case got a penalty. Total score of 73. 103rd place. The last one passing out of the box. Now you see it says 114 of these pass, but this is the last one that passes out of the box without changing anything. It's Michelle Deco Madison. It's $2,295. Presence of 36.2. Small presence. Thickness of 8 millimeters. And yeah, it's actually 31 by 33. So definitely a women's watch. It does have a 43.6 lug to lug. So I think it's going to wear pretty darn well. I mean, the way it's scored, it's getting high scores for that. It's losing points for garish design. Garish design is a huge penalty. I think it's a -6 because you get a 1 or something for the gold. I'm trying to remember exactly. Yeah, you can get the score up by swapping off the bracelet. Unfortunately, has the date, the ticking quartz second, the lume on the hands. Diamonds are not particularly masculine, especially how they did it. But it is an option. The options are getting worse. They have been getting worse for a while, but they'll continue to get worse. Total score 73. Okay, the first watch that's not recommended, the Jack Mason Canton. It's a really cool watch brand. I think they did well in the Gotta Watch series. I like this pattern on the dial. The agave version looks so cool. Really nice green. But yeah, it's not recommended. Score 72. 104th place is the Milu Snowstar. $2,220, 39 millimeters across, 9.5 thickness. Roulette date wheel. Might only be red. I don't know if it alternates red and black, but that's charming either way. Really like the dial. The shape is really pleasing too. Maybe it's just the product shot, but I really like it. Instant date. Unfortunately, it comes on a fabric strap or a bracelet, either way, but they don't offer leather, so you'd have to swap it out to get it passing, because out of the box, not recommended, but if you swap that strap, you can get the score up. Total score 72. 106th place is the Rado Golden Horse. $2,000, 37 millimeters across, 10.8 thick. You got your little anchor thing here swinging around. Red date as well. People like that retro stuff. No minute track. Let the sweep second. You know, there's a reason it's not passing. Swap the strap and you can make it pass as a dress watch. Just barely. Not top of the class. Score 72. 107th place, the Delma Heritage Automatic. Pretty darn plain looking watch. And it's 43 millimeters in size. I mean, that's why it's not a recommended dress watch. Because otherwise it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks okay. It looks kind of sporty. Not totally getting the dress watch thing, but it's way too huge. Not recommended. 108th place, the Fairer Venture. Yeah, this is the example of like what I consider to be just the offensive look of these Fairer watches. They're too darn whimsical for me. No thank you. Not recommended. 109th place is the Erebus. I mean, the Fairer Erebus, too. Yeah, not doing it for me. They have these bright blue here, and the red, and the gold, and the black. Some of these watches just have way too many colors. It's probably the mildest of these three options. The least offensive one. Not for me. 110th place, the Stova Antia Classic 365. There's a marine watch. That's exactly what they are, you know? I mean, they're not calling it a marine watch, but that's pretty much what it is. I mean, it does look very similar to a Nomos trapezoidal date cutout. Angled numbers. It's pretty cool, but not recommended as a dress watch. A lot of pink stuff going on here. The crown and everything. Total score 71. Looking just like the last one in 111th place is the Leico Brandenburg 40. Yeah, it looked a lot like that Stova. Very similar watch. And similar issues. Well, this one has a small crown, but there's a lot of pink when you look into it. Just a lot of little things. Usually protection is not much of a factor. Most watches don't score very high for protection. But the dial aesthetics issue, it's just not very dressy. And you have printed indexes. Much better to have applied. You've got the sweep second. You've got the date. You've got 3 lines of text. They could have just 2 lines of text. That would be better. The case is brushed. It's not polished. Makes it look a little more everyday, but it makes it look less dressy. So stuff like that. Score 71. 112th place is the Main Manhattan Ultra Thin. It is the 106th one that's possible to recommend under any circumstances. Oh wait, no, I take it back. I made a mistake. Yeah, there's no way you're gonna change this strap here. Like this is, let's look, it has a male attachment mechanism. Or it's got the longest lugs you've ever seen in your life. But what are you gonna attach here between them? So yeah, you can't swap the strap, I don't think. It's a 37 by 37, which equates to a 39.5 feel. So it's larger than a 37. Yeah, unfortunately, this one it's a sports watch, not recommended. 113th place is the Circula Facet. Beautiful watch. Oh man, I really like the Circula Facet. It's a good Gada watch. And Gada and Sport are very similar as well, very similar ideas. It's not a great dress watch. All blocky and there's loom everywhere and numbers all over the place. It's kind of just a stylish looking sport watch. Not recommended as a dress watch. 114th place is the E. Stolman the Earl. And it's made in Maryland. That's really super cool. They have an in-house movement that they developed themselves. Really cool watch. It's not too wide. It's only 39, but it's super thick, 14.3. I don't understand that. This one's actually made of silver, and that's pretty cool. Like, it's a bonus here. It will tarnish, though. You can see on the picture, it looks a little bit tarnished already. But silver is a lot brighter than steel, so polish that thing up, and it's going to look really nice. Yeah, the date was a penalty here. Pretty big penalty. Does take away some of the dressiness of it. And the rainbow thing, I'm not down with that, but it is striking. Mother of Pearl is beautiful, but not recommended as a dress watch. Score 71. 115th place is the Bata Trace. They make a lot of one-hand watches, and this is one that has 3 hands. They have the Bata Uno, and then this is the Bata Trace. Tres. Yeah, 3 hands. It looks like it would be good, but it's 44 millimeters. Crazy. Way too big for a dress watch. It's a cool watch, though. Not recommended as a dress watch. Score 71. 116th place is the Mula Glashutte 29ER. It seems like it would be good. It's a good size. There's just a lot of penalties here. These minute Arabics, the way extraneous text, the date, the second, the crown guards. You don't want crown guards on a dress watch. That's totally the wrong thing. Too bad. It's not elegant. I gave it a very low elegance score. Not recommended. 117th place, 107th of the ones it's possible for me to recommend, the Oris Big Crown 34 millimeter. And it is indeed a big crown. I gave it the big crown penalty. It was too big for that medium-sized box. Really nice dial. I do like this one. I think it's classy. It's a 34. I like 34. It's got extraneous text. It's got the second hand. Just didn't make it. But it would make it on the leather. That's right. If you put it on a leather strap, you can get up to a 76. Be a decent dress watch. Out of the box score of 70. 118th place, the Braveur X Wingard. And do they have a name for it? I don't know. Swedish Soul, Swiss Heart. Cool. Neat looking watch. Good everyday watch. I don't recommend it as a dress watch. Score 70. 119th place is the Ball Trainmaster Legend. 1,899 bucks, 40 millimeters across, 11.5 thick. I know there are pictures with it on just a normal leather strap, and that's how you get it to pass. Because a leather pass-through is... Can you imagine a leather pass-through strap with your tux? It's really not the right vibe, the brown leather pass-through strap. I don't know where I found this, but it wasn't an option wherever I found it. It might have been Ball's website. It might have been some other party's website. I did not see it available on just a regular, like, stamped leather strap. If you swap this out for a leather strap with a pin buckle, you can get up to a 75. And it's a decent dress watch, an okay dress watch. Of course, the thing with Ball is these nice tritium tubes. Those are great. No tritium tube on the second hand. The second hand is so classy. I mean, if you're going to have a second hand, this is really nicely done. Super thin, totally unobtrusive. It just matches the dial exactly. It's a good way to do it. The hands look like they're finished really nicely. I'd love to have a Ball someday. They look like really high quality. Out of the box score of 69. One of these watches that's been in the news, the watch news, is in 120th place is the Timex Giorgio Galli S2 Tie. And it is indeed grade 2 titanium. 1,950 bucks, 38 millimeters across, 12 thick. Grade 2 titanium is not an upscale material. It doesn't look premium. I don't know what they were going for with that. It doesn't look very good to me. It's kind of a weird combination of things. The dial is very plain. The dial aesthetics is really high scoring, 27 out of 30 points. So it's got that right. External aesthetics, well, the bracelet's swap it off the bracelet. It gets up to a passable dress watch. But yeah, the grade 2 titanium, that's not that great. And the finishing, it's not good either. It looks really rough. 12 millimeters is thick too. That's holding it back. Out of the box score of 69. 121st place, another deck watch is the Archimede deck watch. And yeah, this is a deck watch apparently. You know, this one has a small second. It has these really distinctive hands. It's a large size, and that's probably something a deck watch is supposed to be. Similar to a pilot watch, it's probably supposed to be large. It's a working man's watch. So that makes sense. Not very dressy to be 42 millimeters though. So that's a big penalty. And yeah, I don't recommend it as a dress watch. I don't recommend it for formal events. 469. 122nd place is the Heritor Jefferson. And it's got a really nice engraved case. Very elongated. How long is it? Okay, it's 28 left to right, 37.7 this way from the top of the case to the bottom, 47 millimeter lug to lug. Gigantic cabochon crown. Yeah, it's a weird one. Really weird one. Doesn't quite pass. Not recommended. Score 69. 123rd place is the Pittsman 2. $1,199, 40 millimeters across, 10.8 thick. More of a sport watch. You put it on a leather strap. I think it's suitable for dressy occasions. It is fairly classy. It does have the loom in the second. So it's kind of doing the sport watch thing, you know, higher water resistance, the bracelet. But you can make it work as a dress watch if you need to. Out of the box score is 69. 124th place, the Sewills Ferret or PRS 39. PRS? That's what Smith's does. Okay, they stole Smith's numbering system. It's just too large. It's just a really large one. Maybe they're trying to look like a pocket watch or something. But dress watches are supposed to be petite. And this is not petite whatsoever. Not passing. Score 69. 125th place is the Mr. Jones, the Silent Thief. I love the aesthetics of this watch. I was really hoping it would make it. There's so much cool stuff going on here. I think this is the hour and that's the minutes. It's so cool. I love it. But it's just way too big. It's a 45 millimeter case. I don't know why Mr. Jones did that. They make nice, like 37 millimeter watches. I don't understand why this one had to be so huge. They could just take that whole thing and put it in a reasonable size case. That'd be awesome. It doesn't need to be automatic. It could be quartz. That would make it thinner too. I love the art, but this is bad. 45 is way too big for dress watch. Score 69. 126th place. I think this one was like first place or something in the Gotta Watch series. The blue version. The silver actually does look better. It's the Ball Engineer 3 Ohio chronometer. $2,349, 40 millimeters across, 12.5 thick. It's on the thicker size. That has to do with the tritium tubes. Those always make watches thicker. It just makes all the hands thicker than they normally would be. You need more clearance for these to pass over each other. They did little dots. I haven't seen these little dot tritium tubes anywhere else. It looks cool. I really like this one. Extraneous text and stuff. It is more of a sport watch than a dress watch. If you swap it off that strap, you can get it up to a passing dress watch score. It is unfortunately a butterfly clasp on the bracelet as well. Pretty bracelet. Another example of a sport watch that's dipping its toes into the dressy side of things. And it kind of succeeds, but it kind of doesn't. Out of the box score of 68. 127th place is the Feynman 6. And it's 38 by 40. Those are the dimensions. $1,341. Feel more like a 42. It's a large presence here. Thickness of 8.6. The strangest bracelet I've ever seen. Actually, can you even swap it? So I say passing with a swap of the bracelet. I don't know if you can on this one. It's a weird thing they have going on here. So I suppose look into that. If you intend this as a dress watch, I think that's a mistake. It is very large. But if you can swap the bracelet, it has my blessing, I suppose. Out of the box score of 68. 128th place is the Nomadic Sior. 928 MOP. Mother of Pearl. Yeah, another integrated deal. It's $2,355. It's a 38.6. Oh, I should have done feel on this. I forgot to do that. It probably would score a couple points lower at least if I did feel, because it's kind of big here. 11.1 millimeters thick. I like this pattern on the chapter ring. That's pretty interesting. I don't like the pointillist logo they have here. Shall we zoom in? Oh, it's not pointillist. They just have a slash through the end. Okay, I thought on one of their watches there it was pointillist. Not this one, apparently. Swap the strap, and I suppose it's passing. But how can you swap it? Okay, I was asleep at the wheel when I did these passing with bracelet swap, because this one may not be able to swap. Sorry for being asleep at the wheel. Out of the box score of 68. 129th place is the Von Doren Grandmaster Mark II. I guess that's what you give to the chess grandmasters. They had that chess watch that was in the last video. People really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed looking at that famous chess game. This one doesn't have a famous chess game on the dial. It's way too big. Just huge watch. Not passing, not recommended. 130th place is the Mula Glashutte Pro Mare. Size is not really a problem, but crown guards, lots of other issues with it. Gigantic crown, crazy long lugs for the size. I mean, it's a 39, but you get 49 lug to lug. It's a weird one. Don't understand why there's loom. Oh, and I scored this one as if it's on a leather, because you can get a leather strap with this. Just put up the wrong picture, apparently, but really does not pass. Not recommended. The last watch, it's even possible to contemplate recommending to you. I can't recommend this one, but under the scoring system, I guess I can. 131st place, the Alexander Regalia A102B. $1,100, 42 across, only 9 millimeters thick. That's probably carrying it over the finish line here. I mean, out of the box score 67. You have to change that to a leather strap. Then you can barely squeak in under the scoring system. It's ugly. I don't understand Alexander. I don't think they've made a single watch that I like. Their watches all just look off and cheap. You know, these applied Romans look really cheap. I don't know what they're doing, why they're charging $1,000 for this thing. Well, they have a Swiss movement. A quartz. They have a quartz. They have a quartz movement, and they're charging $1,000. And I don't get it. Out of the box score 67. 132nd place is the Moles 369 metallic fur. There's no 369. What are they talking about? Normally that means you've got numbers here. Anyway, it's 39 left to right. Feel like a 42. It's a sport watch, not recommended as a dress watch. 133rd place is the DWC Pontchartrain, and that's Detroit Watch Company. Made in Michigan. Really big. Not good for a dress watch. Not recommended. 134th place is the Seiko Presage SPB 537. I added this one later, after pretty much everything was complete. I added it later on, because it's a newer watch. Just doesn't pass as a dress watch. Got a day-night indicator here. That's odd. I don't understand the point of that. They could have done a small second. It probably would have scored a little better. Comes on this not very good looking Jubilee style bracelet. I like the idea of this one. Why is it 12.5 thick? Seiko needs to get that under control. I don't understand. You know, this SWR 052 is only 7 millimeters. Seiko. Just do that with all your dress watches. Just make them all 7 millimeters. Excellent dress watch. The one on the screen is a poor dress watch. Not recommended. 135th place is the Oris Big Crown Pointer Date Bullseye. Right near the top of the price range. I think we have other pointer dates in the next video. Hopefully we do. Hopefully some of them will pass as a dress watch. This has the same problem as the Seiko of just being too darn thick. It's got other issues as well. There's numbers everywhere. It's not a dressy thing to do. I did like the tuxedo thing they have going on. That's pretty cool. Just not passing as a dress watch. Score of 65. 136 is the Melbourne Day Date Classic. Too big. 42. Looks kind of dressy. I don't recommend that you get this one. Score of 65. 137th place is the Eterna 1948 Legacy Automatic. This one is also way too thick. That's the value of looking at the specs, as you can easily identify ones that fall outside of the normal range. It's just too big for dress watch. Not recommended. 138th place is the Ball Fireman Victory Enterprise. Is there any passing ball? I guess the one with the leather pass-through was okay. Might have been another one. This one cannot be redeemed. It's just not recommended as a dress watch. It's a cool sport watch. That's kind of Ball's thing, is like the sport watches. Similar to Rolex. Rolex is sort of a sport watch company, and Ball is very similar to Rolex in that way. Not recommended as a dress watch. 139th place is the Seiko Alpinist SBDC 147. I don't recommend the Seiko Alpinist as a dress watch. It's way too thick. Familiar refrain, 200 meters water resistance. Yeah, I mean, it's a sport watch. Not recommended. 140th place is the Nevada Grenchen F77. Say it's 37 left to right. I gave it a presence, more like a 39.5. And it's really thick too. It's in the thick boy club. That's what we're seeing here at the bottom scores. Not recommended as a dress watch. Even with that beautiful aventurine dial, stone dial, gave it credit for it. Not recommended. 141st place is the Stuart Dawson Night Bridge. Not very dressy, not recommended as a dress watch. 142nd place is the Versace Tolomeo. Looks really cool. I know I've recommended Versace's before. Someone got so upset that one of the Versace's scored like really super high. It was in like the top 5 in one of these videos. I said, how can you do that? The whole point is I look at the specs, try to objectively decide, does it meet the qualifications of a dress watch? And yeah, that one did. This one does not. This is more of a sport watch. I love the two-tone. I love these. I love the engraving they do on these. They're really distinctive, really cool. Not recommended as a dress watch. Way too big. 143rd place is the Von Doren Tandberg. All right, we got another Von Doren. This one is also not going to be recommended as a dress watch. It's too big. 43 millimeter feel. It's too much. Score of 63. 144th place is the Oak & Oscar Olmsted. Yeah, I think this was in the Field Watch video, and it sort of did okay for that. Kinda. It's not a great dress watch by any means. It's really not a dress watch. Score 63. 145th place is the Luch watch Avalon. No, it says watch. It's just Luch. Really beautiful dial. Very interesting colors they have going on here. It's going to have a feel of a 45 because it's 48.9 this way, 41.8 this way. What is the lug to lug? 53. Huge watch. Huge watch for probably a huge man. Made in Belarus. Not recommended as a dress watch. Score 63. 146th place is the Delma Sea Star. Hey, they have a Sea Star that's an actual dive watch. I don't understand the naming of the watches. Why is this also a Sea Star? Clearly some kind of Rolex copy thing, but not very good. It is actually a reasonable thickness for 200 meters water resistance. That's really good, actually. Dang. Not a great dress watch. Score 63. 147th place is the Cincinnati Watch Company Concourse. It looks tiny because it's got this tiny little dial in all this steel, but it's pretty large. I'm calling it presence of 42.9. Yeah, it's 38 left to right, 38 top to bottom. And that's a lot. Big watch. Has other problems all over the place here, which I will not enumerate. Score of 62. 148th place is the West End Watch Co. Sowar. It's only 39 millimeters. That's not why it's failing. A lot of other stuff. The printing, the Arabics, the date, the extraneous text. Kind of thick, 12 millimeters thick. Not recommended. Score 62. 149th place is the Strom Jan Mayen. Beautiful dial. I really like what they did here. But they're doing the integrated bracelet thing. It's not a dress watch. So I don't recommend it as a dress watch. Score 61. 150th place. Really getting close to the end here. The Tutama Sky 6105. Yeah, I don't recommend it. It's not particularly interesting either. Score of 61. 151st place, another Delma, the Delma Midland Automatic. With a feel of 44.4. Big watch, crown guards, Flûte de Paris, fluted bezel. Not recommended. Score 61. 152nd place, another marine watch, the Olivier Jonquet Marine Capitaine. Really nice case here. I love the rounded edges. It's beautiful, but it's just way too big. 46.6 millimeter presence. Yeah, it's 43.5, and it's almost a square. So that just ends up being a gigantic watch. Way too big. Trying to probably be like a pocket watch. May have a pocket watch movement in it. Score 57, not recommended. 153rd place, the CN Italiano. I like what they do here, how they break up the bezel to have this like line that goes down the center. Pretty darn cool. The red and the green is very Italian. Not recommended. Score 57. 154th place, another marine looking watch here is the Nivrel Replique Manuel. Really big, 44 millimeters. And maybe that's what marine watches are supposed to be. It might do really great for that. I don't think there's enough of these for me to do like a marine watch video, but we've seen a lot of them in this one. It's a cool looking one. I like how it looks. Made in Germany. Not recommended as a dress watch. Score 56. 155th place is the Armand Nicolet A660 AAA. I think this is one of the ones I saw on Watch Gang a really long time ago, and I thought, that is a really neat watch. And it is a neat watch. It's got an interesting shape to the bezel. Everything looks really cool, but it is really huge. Feel of like a 44, 12 millimeters thick. Not recommended as a dress watch. Score 56. Final two. 156 place is the DWIS A1. Who would choose this as a dress watch? Nobody. Bizarre lug situation. Not recommended. Score 56. The lowest scoring of all the watches in the video is the Zeno Watch Basel Rectangular. Presence of almost 46 millimeters. Gigantic watch. 50 lug to lug. It's huge for a dress watch. Way too huge. 12 millimeters thick. It kind of looks like, what is that? Robert Muller? Is Robert Muller the one that does these numbers? These crazy numbers? Can't remember. Not recommended. Score 55. So we got to the end. Got to the end of the dress watches. $1,000 to $2,400. So a lot of cool things in here. I have to skip a lot of these ones that were lower scoring. Not really seeing dress watches until we get up here a little bit higher. I suppose the Titoni kind of is. They're starting to look more dressy. Bruno Only looks pretty cool. Stova, I chose a marine one. Well, I also chose a Nomos to go to the final runoff. The Accutron's really cool, beautiful engraving. Vulcain is a classic one for sure. This Accutron looks really nice too. It's bizarrely thick. That picture from the side is ridiculous on this one. It just looks, it makes me want to laugh. It looks so ridiculous. Minim is gorgeous with all this guilloche. And here we are. We're looking at really good dress watches now. The Leico Edition 100. The Movado is really nice. It's a classic one. It says classic in the name. Boplo looks cool. The Redder was really nice. This Takata Square with all its drama. I'm glad it's back in. I'm glad I found one that's a normal man size. The Nomos Ludwig, of course. Be interesting to see how that one does. We're back to our top 5. These are the highest 5 scoring dress watches. All clearly great dress watches. You know, you may not like a particular one, but they're good dress watches for sure. All right, I think we can go to the runoff round now. Let's do the runoff rounds. All right, here are the 27 finalists. So there's 27 of them. Started out as 25, and then lots of drama I won't bore you with. But here they are. The top 5 scoring watches, and then ones that I subjectively decided should have a shot at being in the top 10. And I did have to work on this a while. I did have to pull some out, put some in. This one is more involved than most of these videos I do. Runoff rounds that we're going to have, there's going to be 6 of them. There's going to be formal looks. There's going to be freshness. There's going to be impressiveness. Actually, freshness, I think I changed to character, but I forgot to change it here. Masculinity, that's important for dress watches. Not as important in this price range. We didn't see too many feminine watches, but I still do think it's good to do. Affordability is only a -3. And then thickness. I added thickness to this video because there were a fair number of like nice dress watches that were just absurdly thick. I just felt the need on this one to really put that in there because when I'm doing these other rounds, I'm not thinking about thickness. And so I just had to put that into the mix to get a better result at the end. But let's go on to round 1, formal looks. Okay, so here's the formal looks round. I think in the prior videos, I had these first 4 descriptors. I added the one ritzy, reward ones that look more ritzy. You know, it's for a formal event, muted, but also ritzy. You know, if you can do such a thing. I think this one's sort of muted, but it's also very ritzy. You know, that's how I categorize them. Longines is the most formal of all these watches, in my opinion. Raymond Weil is super formal. The Serica, I thought was the least formal with that brushed case and the weird look to it. It's not very formal, unfortunately. It is dressy. It's clearly a dress watch. It got the aesthetics really well. That's why it scored so high. But the brushed thing is a major problem on this one, in my opinion. All right, round 2 is character. I said freshness before. I decided character is a better word to describe this round. And fresh is one of the components, but it's not just fresh. It's also distinctive. And that's why Nomos Ludwig gets the top spot, because it's a very... You see that watch and you know what it is. Like, they've kind of owned that style. That's just a Nomos thing. You see the Nomos, you know what it is. Same with Junghans. That's why they score high for character. Doesn't necessarily mean it's flashy or anything. Just means that it has a style of its own that really stands out and distinguishes it from other watches. The ones at the bottom, they're looking kind of generic. They're not as distinctive. That's how I ranked the watches for character. It's only 8 points for this round. The next round, impressiveness, also only gets 8 points. And it's really kind of the wow factor. It's just, does it pop? Does it have a really pretty dial? That helps a ton. Like the Minim here, the Redder, the Baltic, really impressive dials. It has to be high quality as well. If it's looking cheap or dinky or just doesn't have that it factor, it's going to score a lot lower. Yeah, I think the Vulcain is impressive due to it's just a sunburst dial, but it looks so nice. That is pretty impressive. Round 4. Oh, I have to move my face so you can see the AI guy's face. Okay, so I put an AI image. I asked AI. I just said masculine, and this is one of the pictures that came up. This guy looks very masculine. He doesn't have a shirt on at all, but he has this vest that's full of all his gadgets and stuff. It's the Accutron, actually the most masculine one here. That's what I concluded. It is very formal. It can be formal and masculine at the same time. But yeah, I was going for bold, strong, utilitarian. None of these are going to be utilitarian. They're dress watches. So it's a weird ask. Like, out of 10, how masculine is the Accutron? Maybe it's a 2 out of 10, but everything else is lower than it. So that's how it works out. You've got some more feminine ones at the bottom. That Longines is kind of feminine. The bar lugs, the Boblo, that's not super masculine. The Raymond Weil is also not super masculine. Yeah, so that was round 4. Nobody's ever given me grief over how I rank these things at the end. Nobody usually has a problem with it, but I try my hardest, and I feel like I have to justify it. Anyway, round 5 is affordability, -3 penalty, just based on how it is within the price range. All this math here, all it is where was it within the price range? And the Stova was right near the bottom, MSRP of $1,134. The cheapest watch in the runoffs was $1,095. So it gets a very tiny penalty, not very much at all. The Nomos, however, the Nomos Ludwig, near the top of the price range. So it gets the full -3 penalty. Actually, it was the highest in these runoffs. That was the highest priced watch in the runoff rounds. It makes a difference. I mean, all things being equal, if I like the Stova as much as I like the Nomos, better believe I'm going to buy the Stova, half the price. And finally, the round I added just for this video in the series is the thickness round. I did that because of some of these thicker watches you're seeing at the bottom. They can't win when they're 13 millimeters thick or whatever they are. It's crazy. So they have to be kind of penalized for that. And then the thin ones should be rewarded because it makes a huge difference when you're wearing a suit. Thickness is super important. And the range here was 5.2 for the Longines and 12.7 here for the Vulcain. And now we're ready to go to the top 10. Here are the top 10 dress watches, $1,000 to $2,400. 10th place is the Nomos Ludwig 201. It's a 35 millimeter. That's awesome. Only 6.3 thick, $2,290. It did really well for character. It was the highest character. It's the most distinctive watch we have, I think, in these top 10. It did pretty well for masculinity. It's not impressive whatsoever. You don't see the watch and go, ooh, wow. It's just kind of a plain watch. Formal looks, also not all that formal. It's kind of just an everyday sort of style, but it did great for thickness. And it ended up in the top 10. On the wrist, it looks great. It's a great size for a dress watch. It's going to serve you very well. Its final score is 89. 9th place is the Pharaoh Paramount. 38 millimeters across, only 8.4 thick, $1,150. So near the bottom of the price range, no affordability penalty. I think it looks pretty darn masculine. It's a masculine shape. Got these nice big hands. That helps with masculinity. It's not particularly impressive. It's not horrible or anything. The character is pretty good on this too. It didn't get very high for formal looks. It looks a little bit rough, unfortunately. It's not ritzy. It's sort of like, that's one thing where it didn't excel, in my opinion. But it is a good dress watch. Absolutely, no question about that. Got a cool hand winding movement. Which I explained before, you can wind just with the finger. You don't have to grab onto the crown because it sticks out on the bottom a little. Final score of 91. 8th place is the Boblo Etchi. It's French. I don't know how you pronounce it. Figura Siena. It's 38.6 presence. That's not a measurement. That's based on what the measurements are. That's the equivalent circle area of this type of watch. 8.6 thick. $1,139. Really cool circular hands here. Really nice color to the case, which I think does look more yellow gold in other shots. Their product shot makes it look a little washed out, slightly rosy and kind of pale. But I think actual pictures of it, it looks more gold. Yeah, it did well for character. It did pretty well for impressiveness. Great for impressiveness. You know, these rings are really going to catch people's attention. It's kind of middle of the pack for thickness. Here it is mocked up on my 7¼ inch wrist. I think it works just fine. I don't think it's too huge, especially because there are no lugs to it. It's going to be a good one. Final score of 91. 7th place, a really cool one, is the Leico Edition 100. It's a 38mm, 9.8 thick, $1,760. I think it'll look great with the tuxedo, with this black in the middle. The pictures look better than the product shot. It's a very pretty looking watch. I don't care for the lume. That was a mistake. These should just be gold hands. It would really elevate it if they did that. But, you know, it still looks very formal, even with the lume. Looks pretty darn masculine, in my opinion. It's kind of bold, those sorts of things. It's getting on the thicker side of the ones in the finalists. On the wrist, it's going to be great. 38 is a great size for a dress watch. I wear this 39 all the time. This Vostok 39mm. It feels a little bit on the large size for me, but it's not too bad. I think 38 will be even better. This one has nice short lugs. It's a 43mm lug to lug. It'll be good. Really neat watch. Score 93. 6th place is the Accutron Legacy 412, a 34mm. And this is why we have the thickness round. It's 12.5 thick. So it couldn't be like right near the top of the top 10. That's just absurd. It's way too thick. $1,590. I still think it's viable as a dress watch. Obviously, I'm calling it the number 6. So much about it is just excellent. Really interesting lugs. It's very masculine, extremely masculine looking of these dress watches. Strap looks nice. It's got a lot of character to it. It looks pretty darn formal. Yeah, it's the lowest like raw spec score we've seen so far. It's a score of 80. But all this subjective stuff really brings it up. Well, except for thickness. You know, it didn't get any bonus here for thickness. It's one of the thickest ones. But it's definitely a good dress watch. Here it is, mocked up on my 7¼ inch wrist. Great size. 34 is not too small by any means. This is a 34 or a 33. I can't remember exactly. But that is a great dress watch size. As you can see in this picture, it's going to be fantastic. Score of 94. 5th place is the Ritter Mistral. 38mm across, 7.4 thick, so it's very thin. One of the best ones here. $1,695. Yeah, it's got a hand winding movement in there that looks so darn good. It's got the 18 karat gold on the dial. Beautiful. A lot of texture here, a lot of visual appeal. You know, the main downside, and it's not on the card or anything, is the lack of brand strength. That did factor into its score here of 85. Would have scored higher if they had any brand strength. It's an independent watch, and so that comes with pluses and minuses. The biggest one is you just wondered, is the watch company going to survive? Are they still going to be around in 10, 20 years? Maybe not, but I guess even the big brands, you don't know that. It's impressive. I think it's very masculine looking. Love these cornes de vache, the cow horn lugs here. I couldn't get a good like head-on shot of the gold one. Here's the silver one mocked up on my 7¼ inch wrist. And it's a good size. 38 is going to be great. I really like this one. Score of 96. 4th place is the Longines La Grande Classique. It's bar lugs. 36mm, only 5.2. It's the thinnest one. $1,650. Thinnest one that made it to the runoff rounds. That's insanely thin. I mean, I can't even comprehend 5mm thin. It looks extremely formal. It's as formal as it gets. It looks like the tuxedo I'm wearing. It's like a tuxedo itself in watch form. It's got a fair amount of character. It's not particularly impressive. It's really not masculine, but extremely thin. And that does mean something. It means a lot for a dress watch. Here it is mocked up on my 7¼ inch wrist. I mean, I said it was kind of feminine, but I think it looks good. I think a man can totally wear this. The 36 is a wonderful size. It's got great balance. You know, with my particular wrist, my 7¼ inch wrist, it's just great balance for a wristwatch. I don't think the watch head itself should take up most of your wrist. I think it's better if it just takes up, I don't know, what is this? Like a half, maybe a little less than half of the wrist. I think that's probably best for a dress watch. It's a great size. Score of 96. Third place is the Raymond Weil Toccata Square. With all that drama, the little tiny one, I put in the normal size one. It made it to the top 10. 37 millimeter presence, and it's 6.4 thick. I don't remember the exact dimensions. Hopefully we have that on the wrist shot. I'll show you. It's $1,375. Looks super formal. It's got not a ton of character to it. Not super impressive. It's very masculine though. I think this is a very, very manly watch to wear. And it's super thin. Let's look at it on the wrist. And on the wrist, it is fantastic. Here's mocked up on my 7.25" wrist. It is, I said presence at 37. Does have a lug to lug that some guys may balk at for a rectangular watch. Almost 45 lug to lug. I think it's good. I think it looks very masculine. Looks great sliding under that cuff. Total score of 96. Second place, I hope people don't yell at me for this, the Movado Museum Classic. 40 millimeters. It's getting bigger there. Only 8 thick though. And it's $1,095. I mean, these things are so classic. I've said this like 4 times now, but yeah, they just look so good. I really like the Movado watch. I don't know if I would pay $1,000 for a Movado. Maybe I would. Probably not. I don't think I'd pay $1,000 for any watch, really. Of the watches in this video, this one is very compelling to me. Very formal looking. I would love just a full black, totally uninterrupted dial, except for this really cool sun at the top. It's got a lot of character. And it's a Movado. It's pretty impressive too. I think this is gonna, people see it and they'll think, wow, that's a really good looking watch. Pretty masculine. It's on the thinner side of these finalists. Let me show you on the wrist. Mocked up on my 7.25" wrist. The 40 is large. Definitely large for a dress watch, but it's not crazy. It's still doable. I might make an exception for this particular watch because I just really like Movado. You guys may roast me for that, but I think it's a great watch. Very classy looking. Total score of 97. First place, the one that won it all, is the Raymond Weil Toccata Heritage. It's got a 40 millimeter feel based on the wearing experience. 7 millimeters thick only. Very thin watch. $1,825. Very, very formal. Extremely formal watch. It's fairly impressive as well. It's not super masculine. Had a really high original score. That's one of the things that carried it a lot in this. And it's super thin. Let me show it to you on the wrist. Yeah, I think the feel of 40 is about right. It's not a small watch. It's not as small as like the one that I've got on my wrist here. It's going to have some presence. It's a good one. And I forgot to mention Raymond Weil with their Toccata Heritage. They came out with a version of it. Maybe it was just for in-store, but it shows you like where your sleeve should go, how much of the watch your sleeve should cover. Apparently, the more formal the event, the more you should cover your watch with your sleeve and just have it hidden away. So that's pretty cool that they did that. Total score of 98. This top 10 were the Raymond Weil Toccata Heritage, the Movado Museum Classic, the Raymond Weil Toccata Square, the Longines Le Grand Classique 36, the Ritter Mistral, the Accutron Legacy 412, the Leico Edition 100, the Boblo Ecce Figura Siena, the Faro Paramount, and the Nomos Ludwig 201. Interesting that there were 2 Raymond Weils in the top 10. Let's see the runners-up. The first runner-up is the Raymond Weil Toccata Classic. They almost had 3 in the top 10. It's 34 millimeters, 7 thick, $1,150. This one excelled in formal looks and masculinity. Those were its 2 strongest ones. Oh, and thickness. It's very thin. Didn't do as well for character or impressiveness. Final score of 89. The next runner-up is that Serica 1174. I'm kind of relieved it wasn't in the top 10 because it's a little off to me. It's definitely a statement piece. Has a feel of like a 38-ish, 8.2 thick. It's $1,785. Had a really high original score. Didn't do so well in these rounds. Whoa, this is cut off. I don't know what happened here. That's weird. I didn't notice that until just now. We're just gonna keep rolling. Formal looks very low. Yeah, it's okay. Not for me though. Final score of 88. Third runner-up is the Minim MN01 Bickle. It's a 36.5. Great size. 9.5 thick. Beautiful guilloche here. Wonderful. I think we established it's a UK company. $1,599. It's not super formal looking. It's a little bit too loud, and the color's kind of too bright. That's too bad. Has a lot of character, and it's very impressive. Fairly masculine. It's on the thicker end of the finalists. And, with the original score, all these things, the original score went up to an 86. It's my runner-up number 3. The fourth runner-up is the Schaumburg Purista. 40 millimeters across, 10.5 thick, $1,339. Yeah, the thickness is actually on the thicker side for these finalists, unfortunately. Very striking aventurine dial. Beautiful hands. I love that there's no printing, no minute indexes, no hour indexes, no second hand, no date. It's a very pure dress watch. The size, unfortunately, is a little too big. It's going to be kind of big, especially for guys with a wrist smaller than mine. It's really going to stick out as like, this is kind of too big for a dress watch. Its final score was 85. And the last runner-up is the Accutron Legacy and all this stuff. The cool engraved one with the funny asymmetrical case. I guess it's symmetrical if you look at it another way, sort of. It's a cool case. I love what they did here with these lugs are kind of different, and it's very cool. I like what Accutron's doing. 38.4 kind of feel to it. Thickness of 12.6. So that definitely held it back. It got no bonus points for thickness. I think it's the thickest one there is in the finalists. It is very impressive, has lots of character. It's pretty darn masculine, but it kind of had a lower score to begin with. And that does matter. The scoring system captures a lot of stuff you can't just see with your eyes. All was said and done, it had a score of 85. So those were my runners up. The Raymond Weil Toccata Classic, the Serica 1174, the Minim MN01 Bickel, the Schaumburg Purista, and the Accutron Legacy 2SW6A002. There they are. And like I do in all these videos, I like to talk about the Bible at the end. So that's what I'm going to do now. It's Bible time. Welcome to Bible time. This is a brief exploration of a Bible passage, typically 10 to 15 minutes, something like that. Psalm 119, 105 says, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path." The Bereans in Acts 17, I was reading that a couple days ago, they were praised for studying the Bible every day. Some people say, the Bible never says you should read the Bible. Look at Acts 17. It is very profitable to digest the wisdom of the Bible every single day and to write the words on our heart. So that's why I do this. Today, I'm continuing the series on the Matthew 5 Beatitudes with number 6. It reads, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." I have this chart of who is blessed and what the blessing is. And some of these, at first glance, are kind of strange, like being poor in spirit and that sort of thing. Today's, I don't know if it's necessarily confusing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. As we'll see as we go through this, it's a very common message in the Bible. There's no 3-point outline today. I'm just going to explore the plain meaning of the Beatitude to try to uncover what Jesus was teaching. And as I've already mentioned, it's a familiar theme in the Bible. But in trying to understand the meaning of the Beatitude, it's helpful to look at the Greek words. So we'll start with that, and then we'll look at some more verses after that. Let's just dive into the Greek. The first Greek word I want to look at is pure. And the Strong's number for it is New Testament 2513. And it's katharoi. It means clean. It means unsoiled. Metaphorically, it can mean innocent and guiltless. And I think that's what it means in this passage. We're not talking about your literal heart not having dirt on it or something. One other Bible verse with the root word is Romans 14, 17 through 21. In this passage, Paul is resolving a division that had arisen in the early church regarding dietary laws of the Old Testament, because some people were still observing them, some people were not. Some people were saying, okay, I'm eating with some pagans, I'm still going to eat their food even though they offered it to an idol or something. Some people were saying, no, I won't eat it. Anyway, he's trying to resolve that. So he says, "For the kingdom of God is not a matter of eating or drinking, but of righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Spirit. Because anyone who serves Christ in this way is pleasing to God and receives human approval. Let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and mutual edification." Okay, he's trying to resolve that division in the early church. "Do not destroy the work of God for the sake of food." To focus on what's actually important here, people. All food is clean. There's other passages that say this as well, but all food is clean. That's why I eat bacon. laws in the Old Testament say you don't eat bacon, but that was for a time. And at some point, it changed. Paul says all food is clean, but it is wrong for a person to eat anything that causes someone else to stumble. So if I had a Christian that thought bacon was wrong to eat, maybe don't eat it in front of him. It's better not to eat meat or drink wine or to do anything else that will cause your brother or sister to fall. Yeah, I mean, if there's an alcoholic visiting my house, probably should not drink alcohol in front of him if I think it's going to hurt his sobriety. Okay, so all that was just the pure idea. And that's where he says all food is clean, meaning pure, katharoi. The next Greek word I've got is heart. And you've probably heard this one before already. It's Strong's New Testament 2588, cardia. And yeah, it's where we get terms like cardiovascular, cardiologist, echocardiogram. I'm going to go do some cardio at the gym. We know what that means. Interestingly, in the New Testament context, it doesn't really refer to like your pumping organ in your chest. It does literally, but when it's used in the Bible, it means your mind. It actually means your mind, your thoughts and your feelings. We consider the heart the seat of life and is the originating point of your passions and desires. So your passions and desires come out of your heart. That's what they thought. So that's what it means. The seat of your passions and desires, your thoughts, your feelings, your mind. So what does it mean to be pure of heart? Talking about your mind, your thoughts, your desires, not the pumping organ in your chest, but those other intangible things. Well, as Jesus has said in other passages, God is not only concerned with our actions, but our thoughts as well. Our heart. I don't think it's so incongruent. I think we still use the word that way when we talk about our heart. Like, do you love someone in your heart? It's like we're thinking about your heart, your thoughts, your feelings. But okay, the first passage is Matthew 5:22. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Yeah, that's later in the same sermon, the Matthew 5 sermon. So just being angry at my brother is subject to judgment. Whether I do something or not, I've still sinned in being angry at him. A great passage is 1 Samuel 16:17. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. And God is talking to Samuel about Saul, the king, who looks really good and he's really tall and everything. And then David, the man he's chosen to replace Saul. David is small, not nearly as impressive as Saul was. The Lord does not look at things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Again, we have the heart thing going on. I don't know if that's just some ancient thing. Like we still think about the heart in the same way. It's got that dual meaning. We also have Matthew 5:28. Again, yeah, from that same sermon, right after the Beatitudes. Jesus says, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. Yeah, our thoughts and our feelings are highly influenced by what we take in with our eyes. And Jesus is saying, if your heart is being corrupted by what you're seeing in this world, pluck out that eye. Is that figurative? Probably. It's probably not literal. We probably don't need to literally blind ourselves. But the point is, like, stop at nothing to take yourself away from that influence that is polluting your heart. Because, again, God looks at the heart. We also have Matthew 12:34. A lot of Matthews here. Jesus says to the Pharisees, brood of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And there are countless other verses on this topic. It's just, the Bible is chock full of it. The key point here is that it is a sin to hold hate or lust or evil thoughts in our heart. And that's a sin on its own, whether or not we act on it. And that sin will surely lead to other sins of the heart or actions, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Those inner feelings and thoughts inevitably do lead to actions. So we have to monitor that as well. God sees our heart. We need to be introspective as well about our feelings and our thoughts, because we can be sinning even if outwardly we appear to be righteous. The third word is see. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. And this is the one that intrigues me so much about the Beatitude. I want to see God, but he's invisible. I've never seen him. He's invisible to my eyes. The Greek word is Strong's 3708, opsontai. It means to stare, to discern, to behold, to perceive. Take something in. Like we saw with heart, cardia, the Greek word optos, visible, is the root for modern words we use in English. Optic, optometry, stuff like that. those kinds of words. I think a lot of medical stuff comes from the Greek. This is in John 6:46. No one has seen the Father except the one who is from God. Only he has seen the Father. Bible Hub actually tells me there are 684 occurrences of the word see in the New Testament. So it's a very common word. I'll just give a couple examples. First one is Matthew 1:23. Behold, that's the word. It's probably not exactly opsantai, but it's a derivative of that word. There's a lot of different conjugations and stuff of it. Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is translated God with us. Next verse is Luke 1, verse 11 to 12. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw, he was startled and was gripped with fear. So Zechariah beheld the angel. Does it mean he saw him with his actual eyes? I don't know. The word appears to be a little bit more broad than that. Discern, behold, perceive. Does it mean it comes into our actual eyes? It does, but it doesn't always mean that. Look, it's like the Matthew 1:23. Behold, the virgin shall be with child. It's like, observe the fact that this is going to happen. Doesn't mean you're actually seeing it yet. And we use the word see in that way as well. It doesn't mean you're literally looking at something. Do you see my point? You're not literally seeing my point. Many, many more verses with it, but you get the point, what see means. So, to perceive. And none of us have fully perceived God. All right, let's go to the last Greek word, God. And it's Strong's 23:16. Theon means deity or divine. And depending on context, in the Bible, it often means the supreme deity, Yahweh. One of the uses is actually in a verse I already cited, that Matthew 1:23. Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is translated God with us. So that's the name for Jesus, is Emmanuel, God with us. Theon. It might not be exactly Theon, it might be Theos, or who knows. There's other conjugations. It's very straightforward. I mean, Theon, it's very self-explanatory. I'll just give one more verse, Matthew 4:4. Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." I've mentioned this verse in the past. Jesus is refuting the devil, and the mouth of God, Theon. We've covered the Greek words. Now I want to explore the idea in the Beatitude a little bit more. One really interesting passage that I came across in Bible study recently is Psalm 17, and it's a prayer of David. It starts with David talking about his heart. It's a good parallel to the Beatitude. Psalm 17, verse 1 through 3 says, "Hear me, Lord, my plea is just. Listen to my cry, hear my prayer. It does not rise from deceitful lips. Let my vindication come from you. May your eyes see what is right. Though you probe my heart, though you examine me at night and test me, you will find that I have planned no evil. My mouth has not transgressed." So this is the idea that God is probing our heart, which the Beatitude talks about as well. It's a prerequisite to being able to see God, is that we be pure in heart. God is probing our hearts. As the psalm continues, David describes how he has resisted temptations of other people. They've tried to bribe him. He's refused it. How he's walked in God's path. He describes how his enemies surround him. He's in exile at this point, and they hunt him like prey. So David calls for God to save him from this. So David is touching heavily on the theme, talking about being pure in heart. What's really wild is that Psalm 17 concludes with David saying in verse 15, "As for me, I will be vindicated and will see your face. When I awake, I will be satisfied with seeing your likeness." So he says it twice. I'll see your face, seeing your likeness. But what did he mean by when I awake? I don't know. Perhaps he means dying and awakening to eternal life. When I awake. I mean, clearly he's awake when he's writing it, so it's an interesting thing. And David is, of course, later vindicated. He says, "I will be vindicated." He was vindicated. His enemies were turned away. Speaking of David, if you haven't seen the David movie, the animated one, I highly recommend it. It's a really good movie. And Psalm 17 fits so well with this beatitude here. I do think Jesus was calling back to this psalm in Beatitude 6. I've got a few more verses to explore. The first one is Psalm 24, 3 through 6. "Who may ascend the mountain of the Lord? Who may stand in his holy place? The one who has clean hands and a pure heart, who does not trust in an idol or swear by a false god." That's who gets to ascend the mountain of the Lord. It's the one with the pure heart, just like in the Beatitude. Hebrews 12:14. Make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord. You have to have holiness inside of you to see the Lord. And I'll expand on this later, but having holiness inside of us, that's a tall order. Acts 7, verse 55 through 56. This is about the martyring of Stephen. But Stephen, full of the Holy Spirit, looked up to heaven and saw the glory of God and Jesus standing at the right hand of God. Look, he said, I see heaven open and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. He sees it. Stephen saw that before he died. And again, seeing, does it mean literally the eyes? I mean, maybe it was. Maybe he saw God at that moment. But it can also mean discern, behold, perceive. Another one, 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11 through 12. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, talking about our time here on earth, but then face to face. So later on, we will see God face to face and have that full knowledge of God. Now I know in part, but then, in the future, shall I know even as I am known. Seeing is part of knowing. I'm glad there's another word here to kind of flesh out what the passage means. I don't fully perceive and understand God right now. I see through a glass darkly. But in eternity, we're going to have that full discernment, that full perception of God. The verse says that we shall know God as he knows us. He knows us more than we know ourselves. He numbers the hairs on our heads. He knows us so much more intimately than we ever could know ourselves or anyone else. And someday we will have that same knowledge of God himself. I think that's the desire of everyone. I think we all want to know God to that level. And the Beatitude says that the blessing will come to those who are pure in heart. So how are we to become pure in heart? Well, my belief is that this happens when we put our faith in Jesus, we turn our lives to him, and are born again. David said that he was pure in heart, but we know from the Bible that later he still committed sin. So being pure in heart does not mean that you just never sin again, or you never have sinful thoughts in your head. Obviously, we should fight against that. We should pluck out our eyes, figuratively, turn ourselves away from sinful things. But God chose David because of his heart. God, being outside time, knew that David would commit sins later in his life, but God still chose him. And there's a passage here, when God was speaking through Samuel, Samuel told King Saul in 1 Samuel 13:14, but now your kingdom will not endure. This is the bad news Samuel's giving to King Saul. Your kingdom will not endure. The Lord has sought out a man after his own heart and appointed him ruler of his people because you have not kept the Lord's command. And again, that David movie shows this, where Samuel anoints David, that David is God's chosen because he's a man after God's own heart. Although the passage is referring to David, it can also refer to us too if we give our lives to Jesus and are born again. And then we too someday will see God face to face. And I just have one more passage here. At the very end of the Bible, in Revelation 22, verse 1 through 4, we're given a glimpse of what heaven will be like. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding from the throne of God and of the Lamb. In the middle of its street and on either side of the river was a tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, the curse of sin, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. Us being his servants, God's servants. They shall see his face, and his name shall be on their foreheads. There shall be no night there. They need no lamp nor light of the sun, for the Lord God gives them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. It's a beautiful vision of heaven, and that's exactly what this passage is talking about, in my opinion, that we will see God, those of us who are followers of Jesus, who have given our life to him. There'll be that day when the curse will be gone, the curse of sin, the curse of sin that we all still suffer from, and we want to be free of it, but that's coming in the future. It's not here yet. In heaven, we will see God's face. So what an amazing blessing. What an encouraging thought. That's all I had on the passage. Really wonderful beatitude, one that's always kind of stuck with me. It's always intrigued me. And it was really nice to dig into it a little bit deeper. and kind of just confirmed what I suspected from just reading it through. Is, this is talking about those who have been saved. We get to be with God and perceive him fully. Next week, we'll be in the 7th Beatitude, and this is the one that the law enforcement officers like to quote. And it's Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. So that'll be interesting to explore. Now for a prayer. Lord, thank you for this Bible time. Thank you for every time that we get to just spend in your word. I know it is so edifying. I know it's very profitable. I know personally it makes me comforted. It fills me with serenity and peace to know that, to have a glimpse of what's ahead for us, to know of your promises, and we know that you do not have any deceit within you. Everything you tell us is totally true. It's just not an attribute that you have. We have it, but you do not. And so I know that what you tell us is true. Lord, please help us to follow your word, to follow your paths, and to be pure in heart, to be pure in our desires and our thoughts and our feelings, and to turn away from anything that would cause us to sin in our hearts. Lord, we love you. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Now may the Lord of peace himself give you peace always and in every way. The Lord be with you all. See you next time.